proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast, Season 3, Episode 24. Before we start, can you please like, share, subscribe, rate? All those things make a huge difference. So we're going to talk rallying once again, and by God, are we going to talk rallying, Connor, this week? It's a busy show. We keep saying we have a busy show, but this is off the scale busy. We look back at Killarney, and I get a chance to catch up with Callum Devine, the winner of the event. Second place then Matt Edwards and Eddie Doherty finished third. We speak to them three altogether. Then we catch up with the two-wheel drive winners, was Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue. And then also I spoke to Ioan Lloyd Sion Williams. They were the winners in the Rally 4 category. And then Kevin O'Driscoll joined us in after that, then to talk about how the Tarmac Championship is shaping up and all the different permutations there. And then after that, we catch up with Donagh Kelly and Rory Kennedy, and we talk historic European Rally Championship and a few other bits and pieces as well. And then the latest round of the ERC was last weekend. We get a chance to speak to Jon Armstrong, who had a fantastic run, and then Aoife Raftery and Hannah McKillop, or Hannah Davison now, she's married. We speak to the two of them and get their view, because they're up to third now in the junior championship as well too, which is absolutely fantastic. And then finally, after all that, then Enniskillen May Day event was on up in St Angelo's Airport, just outside Enniskillen there. And I got a chance to catch up with some of the crews there, but more about that later. Oh. That's a lot to talk about, but I think we'll not talk too much. What can we say? Killarney last weekend, Connor, like fantastic weather, fantastic event. Really is just how good Irish rallying is. Like that's a perfect postcard to send anywhere in the world.
Oh, the pictures and the video clips and stuff looked absolutely fantastic. Again, we're talking about the potential for the WRC coming to Ireland, and we're looking for those picture postcard, those scenery shots. Like Killarney had it, like it really did. The photos and the images looked fantastic. And not only that, we had all the drama as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it just kept, unfolding. Like, how early that Keith had the puncture, and then, the fight back was on. How far up the leaderboard could he get, and it was just the intrigue and right throughout the field. Like, the Rally 4 guys. Like, how many times was the lead change hands? It was just bonkers to try and follow. And brilliant to see. And that was before we forget. We talk about like how good Irish rallying is and promoting it to the wider audience. Just as we were recording this evening, the announcement from Dirtfish that they're collaborating with On the Pace Note with Andy and Killian, and like that's going to just take that to a whole new level as well, Connor.
Oh, look, anything that promotes the rallying that we have on this island is a fantastic opportunity. But bringing it to a global audience again, we know the reach Dirtfish has, and we know that this country loves its rallying, and we have huge crowds and spectators and fans, and we've got so many rally cars and R5s and all the rest of it here. It's fantastic that there's an opportunity to get it showcased on a world stage again.
Yeah, and like we know how good Killian and Andy are. They're so enthusiastic, they're so professional at their job too. So big hat tip to them there as well. So that is just absolutely fantastic news. So anyway, I think there's no point to listen to us. I think you're all wanting to hear, from the competitors. So first of all, we'll hear from Callum, Matt, and Eddie, and then that will run into Colin and Kieran O'Donoghue, and then that will roll into Ioan Lloyd Sion Williams, and then finally into that section then is Kevin O'Driscoll. Killarney at the weekend had to be one of the most epic rallies there's been in a few years. The fantastic weather, the fantastic stages, and Callum, you come away with the one, making it 3 in a row. That was some rallying over the weekend.
Yeah, no, it was a great achievement, to be honest, Kevin. No, we're definitely delighted with it, obviously, as well, for Noel being from Killarney too. It's a special one for him as well, for him to tick off the box now. So yeah, it's something we probably didn't think we'd never really thought on until, yeah, it's a good result. Hey. We're delighted. We needed a good result too, I suppose.
Yeah,
As
because
well.
you see, I was listening to you, when you were pulled up with Andy, and you started saying, like you're in the same, people are going to now talk about you in the same breath now, as the likes of the Bertie Fisher, the Billy Colemans, and that, like the history that just, you've grown up and you've been brought up through Irish rally, and again, to hear your name now in the same breath as them, that must be a very cool feeling.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose we never really thought like that. I would think it was like Mark Moss phoned me during the week before the rally, and he kind of says, so I think it was only Bertie Fisher to ever won the rally three. Well, he won it 5 times in a row, but to run it in a row, like to make it 3 in a row, would probably be only me to do it. I know Austin McHale's won it a couple of times and stuff, and I think Billy Coleman as well. But to won it 3 in a row, I look, it was, you never really think of these things when you started off to be matching these boys, but no, it was. It's nice. It's definitely nice. Definitely something nice to, yeah, to add to achievements, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And like Matt, the last time we spoke, you spoke about going into the Lions Den, and like the Lions was roaring at you, but you nipped them back as well too. Like you must have great confidence from your performance there at the weekend.
Yeah, I'd say so. It was definitely, we definitely knew it was going to be hard work. I think we were on the end of some fairly hard work during the week as well, which I was probably never going at Moll's Gap 10 tenths anyway. But those sort of little put the reins on a little bit. So we just wanted to get through that one, make sure everything was okay, and bit of a systems check, make sure all the notes were sort of working at speed, because like Moll's Gap is a stage that, if you've not done it before, from my perspective, it's hard to recce it properly using the lines that you want to take on the rally, because obviously it's two-way, and it's obviously dangerous to go and try and do that. So I was happy with the run we had up there. Obviously there was time in it, but in hindsight, looking back, I made the right decision to go about it that way, and we just built on the weekend from there. And into Healy Pass, we had a good time in their first run, so we knew we were obviously doing something right, and the car was somewhere near. And it's just, the biggest thing really was acclimatizing to dry weather, and really trusting the grip from next to no grip in the circuit to that was a big, it's a big change. And I probably haven't done that much dry tarmac rallying, certainly not recently. And it's a big thing to adapt to when these cars are so capable in braking and cornering. It's phenomenal what they do.
I like Eddie, you spoke at the start of the year, this was going to be a learning process. It was going to be, slowly take your time, get the pace, build the pace, and like you've stuck to that plan so well. And then at the weekend, we've seen the raw pace then as well too. Whenever you needed to push, you seem to be able to push and feel comfortable with it. I don't think it was ever ragged at the weekend that you were driving still within yourself.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely comfortable. There was never really a kind of a moment where we said, this is it. So, no, I suppose Killarney has always been good to me. Ever since the 1600 car days up to the 2.5 Escort, and we've always had good results. So we knew, probably kind of facing the gap on Saturday morning, that we'd be in with a shot of having a good chance. I didn't think we'd be as close on the first run up, but from then it was really just a confidence booster and onto Healy Pass, and I think we showed good enough pace throughout the day on Saturday then.
Yeah, and like, even with issues, like you were having problems with the pop-off valve, especially up Moll's Gap too, and like to be only a handful of seconds off the top time, like that must have been like, this is good here.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a confidence booster. Coming into the weekend, I thought we'd be, I'd say, a top 5 at best, but to come away with a podium at the end of it all, we're after having 3 podiums there now in the last 3 rallies. So in Carlo now, was better.
For sure. And like Callum, it's always good to see somebody else stepping up to that top table as well too. You've served your apprenticeship, you were that guy, only 3, 4 years ago. And it's good to see that there's always somebody else coming along to keep you honest.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin, that's what you want. You want to make the championship as strong as possible. For everybody watching, it can only be a positive. Like, and yeah, like obviously Eddie had a great run there too, and and David Kelly was pushing on sometimes there too. On Sunday, I was looking there 3 times. So there's a lot of guys there coming up, and yeah, the pace is definitely not getting any slower. I know that. So no, they're definitely going hard. So there, so all fair play to them all, because yeah, going to make the championship better. Like.
Yeah, and like those stages on Saturday, out the Beara Peninsula, like they are real driver stages. They are like big commitment, big big trust in your notes, big trust in your co-driver, big trust in the car. Like, and the dry conditions, we've said before, like there hasn't been a dry rally. I think you said it was the LMC last August. Like, is it hard to get yourself completely dialed into the dry conditions again as well?
Yeah, I do think so, Kevin. It's Matt touched on it there. It's really what these cars are capable in the dry. It's a bit mind blowing at times, to be honest. Um, and just when you're really in a battle, you kind of keep pushing and keep pushing. You realize how, how much they can do. You probably don't realize it until you actually need to go looking for the time. But yeah, to dial in, as Matt was saying, from the circuit and all these rallies been so wet and slippery, and just trying to make no mistakes to go into Killarney where you're really just finding the limit of a tire then. Do you know what I mean? You're really, really pushing hard, pushing hard. So yeah, it's yeah, to get back dialed into it, it takes a wee second or two, but no, it's definitely enjoyable. I think everybody enjoys a bit of dry weather like too. It's makes it a wee bit less headache, obviously. So
Yeah, because the footage is going to be amazing. Like the level of all the crews we're at, like the weather, the stages, like that is some advertisement for Irish rally.
oh, it's brilliant, brilliant. So it is. And look, pure and simple. Look at the crowds there was all weekend. It was crazy. Like the town, Killarney town was jam packed. The ramp was jam packed, and obviously the finish ramp and the stages as well. Sure, there was delays in stages trying to keep spectators at bay. So it's brilliant to see. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's yeah, the good weather brings everybody out, and it's only good for the sport, obviously, and yeah, it helps the whole thing as well.
Yeah, like Matt, I think it was Killian or was it Andy, like was saying to you, like are you happy now that you've come over now and you're doing the Irish Tarmac Championship? And you were saying like, there's nowhere better than this. Like the race was on like that, and the quality of the stages, like you were just loving life there. I think it was Sunday that they were asking you that.
Yeah, it's been a definitely worthwhile decision. It's brought a lot of people together to do it, but it's just to do 20, well, best part of 20k, and to have 3 people on the same second at the sharp end it's unheard of in a lot of forms of rallying and a lot of forms of motorsport. And it's almost like you get to the end of the stage thinking you've pretty much nailed it, and you must have taken a few seconds at least, and it's all within a tenth or two. It's crazy. And you're left wondering what you have to do to take time, and and then you've got Keith another 10 seconds up the road. It focuses your attention. It pulls, it drives everybody forward, and as Callum said, everybody's getting faster. There's no two ways about it, and you're finding you got to find the details to make the times now, and any little weakness or discrepancy or problem with the car is found out. That sort of challenge it's certainly why I do it. I'm sure it's why most other people keep coming back, and even to take 2 seconds out of somebody in 20k feels like a major achievement now. So to have any problem is not far off rally over, really.
Yeah, because even to lose 2 seconds, never mind gain 2 seconds, like to lose it, you're like, how am I going to get that back almost too as well?
Yeah, I go rooting through the in-car for little mistakes or little hesitancies, and try and put stuff in the notes to try and counteract that on the next events, and work out where the gains are to be had. And I think ultimately, even if one of us drops a few seconds, it's not really obvious at all. It's just somebody clicks on maybe 2 or 3 corners and takes 2 or 3 tenths, and then carries that speed for the rest of the stage. And it's as much about making sure you don't give time away as it is trying to take it. And it's quite a difficult mindset to get into, really. But it's a challenge nonetheless.
Yeah, I like Eddie. You're chasing like a moving object almost, and like you have to be pushing harder to catch that moving object than if these guys were all at level and that was the level you needed to attain, you'll get there. But they're moving that level. They're moving the goalposts. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I suppose so. People would say that you're always trying to see where the pace is at and where it's going to be. And look, I think for this rally, right, it might be hopefully not a one-off, but I think on a dry tarmac, it was easy, like enough for us to push. On a wet or a half slippy stage, it might be something else. So it was probably kind of an easy enough conditions for us probably to learn the car even a small bit more. In fairness to Ryan Lochran, and Noel and all Rory and all the guys there, and they gave me a car that's after working so far. So probably in a car that a Skoda probably would have been looked down to in Irish rallying for a while. So no, we got a engine upgrade before the rally, and that seemed to help them as well. So no, but the pace, like the bar is always moving. We can see it like ourselves even from the start of the year, the whole way up. So in fairness to Matt, Callum, Keith, or any of the guys, even in the national championship, it's always moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Callum, like you were there in 19 whenever Craig come over, and like we thought like this, couldn't get any better than this. And then with the COVID years and all, but last year the pace went up a wee bit more. Keith and Mikey has landed this year, and they've pushed it on a wee bit more. It just every year you think, oh, that's as good as it's going to get, but it never is. There's always that wee fraction more every year.
Yeah, exactly. Look, our five category is they're all kind of a level playing field for all the cars, but and everybody's sort of driving them at the maximum. So there, and look, pretty much what brings the pace on every year is like Eddie says, there's more upgrades coming from the car, may it be to the engine, or may it be just upgrades to tires, more rubber and better rubber in the tires and stuff. And like everybody's just getting quicker and quicker and quicker. It's just bringing everybody just keeps pushing the boundaries that wee bit more, and yeah, obviously Keith's here too as well. It's keeps to pushing the boundaries even further again. But no, look, it's great racing. It's great racing. That's everybody enjoys it. Like, and yeah, it's brilliant.
The cliche. You have to dig inside yourself to find it. Like, do you find that you have to, find it like the inner speed? Is there? Do you dig in to find that for Keith comes along and takes 19 seconds off you in our room? Do you start to say, right, I need to find that?
Oh, oh, you do. You kind of look about trying to find a couple of seconds, but when you get times that get slapped up the face, you kind of say, right, we need to go back to the drawing board now. We kind of did think now that was the sort of game over at that point, trying to look for that amount of time. But no, look, I think Matt and ourselves, we did actually go the 19 seconds quicker the second time round. I think we were both on the same time, obviously, the second time round. So we found the time. It was just unfortunate for like Keith, like he got a puncher, so he could have probably found another 5 or 10 up the road. You will know, like so. Yeah, look, it's nice. You just have to get yourself in the right mind frame too. Like as Matt touched on there too, it's hard. You have to get yourself dialed into it and be focused. Do you know what I mean? Because every corner, every note, there's tenths. There's a tenth here and there on it. And as Matt says, you don't want to give any time away. So and you definitely need to be trying to gain time too. So yeah, you have to. You have to be in the right frame of mind too for it all the time.
Mm-hmm. I like Matt. You spoke at the start of the year too. Like yourself and Keith has had battles like right through the BRC years, and like you know how good he is. Like he seems to have that. I don't even like with an extra gear. He's a sixth gear. that he can seem to slot into, and it seems very natural to him.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we spoke quite a lot in between stages, and there's nothing. I don't think there's a sport like it for the sort of subdued mood before a stage. When you're talking, and then all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, you're into a stage, and Keith's obviously got that ability to stay calm and composed, and I think we all have that ability, but he's got something there that he can exploit quite readily when he needs it, and it's quite infuriating to see with what easy sort of does it. But like we said, that's the sort of thing that's put in front of you. That's the challenge you face, and you either try and step up and find the improvements, or you don't bother. So it's your choice to go and chase it or not. And it was nice for me, I think, on Sunday that that there was a small chance there that we could win the rally, and it was nice for me to get in the car Sunday morning feeling relaxed, but also having that desire to go and chase it. And that's, I think the day that goes is that's the day that that you sort of had your fill. But I was still as keen as ever to go and do it and put the work in, front to back in tyres and doing whatever we can just to, putting the work in to do what we could and keep Callum under pressure. So that was good from my point of view. And, again, to further yourself onto Keith's pace on those stages that he was doing those crazy times is something else to try and do that.
Yeah, because if you're pulling them belts on Sunday morning, you're less than 10 seconds or 14 seconds away from the one. Is there that, is it like, I don't know, how would you put this? Is there like that young fella again, going, right, I can do this, I want to do this?
Yeah, but in me and Dave, there's no question. Dave's the same, and he's like, I want this. We're not cruising around for second here. And it's like, no, I know, just chill. I'm on it. Don't worry. He's insatiable for his appetite for it, and that's you need both of those elements in the car to do it. And should we have gambled on the 5 because Keith went on the 5 in the afternoon? I don't know, because I was still finding stuff in the medium tyre that I hadn't found for the rest of the weekend in terms of how well it held on in the fast stuff. And ultimately, there probably wasn't the time for me to find in those 3 stages. Given their nature, they were very fast, and I think I'd have struggled to find all that time with my sort of lack of knowledge, if you like. So I was just happy. I was really happy with how I drove on Sunday. No mistakes all weekend, and no problems with the car. And it's I'm learning again. There's no two ways. You keep learning, you keep trying things, and there's a few areas that we're looking into now for next time to try and not necessarily make better decisions, but try and extract a bit more from what we have in the dry, and it just keeps it interesting and exciting and keeps the motivation up.
Yeah, I like Eddie. Listening to these guys, does that motivate you? That you have to put in I don't know, as more effort or as much effort than these guys.
Yeah, sure. It's always going to be. I suppose for me coming into the year, you're always looking up to these guys and seeing exactly what they're trying to do and trying to mimic or try to copy as much as you can see. I suppose where I am, even in the locker room camp, I suppose I'm happy. I'm kind of lucky as well to have Matt there, even on test days. I can see how way he does things and see how professional he is at it. So it's great to have someone with such a caliber within, you could say, our team or within the group that you can look at, and even to have Dave inside in the car that can advise on tyres and all the rest as well. So I think I'm in a good place, and I think it's good to have these people around you, have a team around you, because you can't do it just by yourself. And fairness to Tom, that's sitting in the car with me. His first rally was in a 1600 Escort with me inside in Belgium, and we've grown. So it's great, and it's just trying to improve our notes, and he is just as much driving it as what I do. So we're always trying to improve as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. And it must be great to have come so far, and we're only the 5th month, really only in 4 months how much you've come on. It must give you good heart now going into the second half of the season.
Yeah, it definitely does. I suppose I think Killarney is kind of in the right time for me. I think back our first rally last year in the Fastnet, I said to Noel Loughran, Killarney is my aim. I want to be somewhere thereabouts, and that was always our aim. And I think last year, even when we had the Escort, it gave us another confidence. The next rally after, we went and we won the Laois Heartlands rally. So it's just in that perfect time of the year for me. So it definitely does give more confidence, and hopefully we can bring more from the car.
Yeah, for sure. And Callum, then we touched on it briefly earlier. You had Noel there beside you. That was his 3 wins in a row. It was cool for you, but for him and his home turf, that must have been dream, boyhood dream come true for Noel.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is. Obviously, to get his first one there, he was absolutely delighted, and obviously the 3 years has went by so quickly, and now his 3 wins there, and yeah, look, I can imagine if it's any home rally for anybody, they always want to win it, and yeah, he's got 3 now, and I think I don't think many other Killarney people has as many wins as well, so it's a nice achievement that way as well, and also I'll have to mention too is that was his dad's 40th Killarney
Yeah.
Rally of the Lakes there at the
Mhm.
weekend too as well. So it was a brilliant weekend for the Sullivans as well. So it was a good weekend for them.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Because, like, the Noel Senior, like, he has been part of the Killarney story practically since the start.
Yeah, exactly. I think we were asking Matt and stuff. We were asking him sort of how long has he got this escort for? Like, and he says, "Oh, for most of the rallies." And he says, "Oh, how many is most of them? About 35 rallies or something." So it's like it's a brave walk of rallies or something.
Yeah.
So no, look, he's a big part of it, and they love it. Like they love the sport. So yeah, obviously they won the home rally. It was brilliant, and they're a big part of it as well.
For sure, for sure. And, like, Matt, your first time, like, you've been in Killarney before, with your role in Pirelli and all, but your first time competing, like, you've got a chance now to go over those classic stages, like the Bear Peninsula, and then, the Malls, Ardgrim, Gortnaga. Like, are they every bit as good as what, you'd hear, like, to get drive down them on the limit?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question, and it was a very special weekend. A privilege to be part of it in a car. I'd obviously driven a couple of the stages before from a Pirelli perspective, and when you're not actually going to go down it flat out, the focus isn't necessarily the same. But on the recce and things like that, you're sort of picturing what gear you're going to be in certain corners and what lines and things. And when you go through Ardgroom and Cod's Head, and it's corner after corner after corner, and it's relentless. And I don't think there's many stages like that in the world that give that sort of whole mix of the scenery and the geography of the place with the grip and the good length of the stages as well. It's if people have got the opportunity to go and do it, definitely try and do it. And, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to go back next year and try again. But even if we don't do it again, it's certainly really been worth the effort to go there and do them, and very rewarding stages to drive. And yeah, there's not many sensations like it.
And, like with Keith getting the puncher and you coming second, it's opened up the championship that wee bit now as well too. Like, at any stage on Sunday, do you drive with the championship in mind, or is that parked outside the car, and we'll see on Sunday evening where we're at?
I must admit, I wasn't particularly thinking championship. I probably should have been thinking a bit more championship, but I suppose when you're confident and you're comfortable, you do look forward, and Callum was too close to not be tempted to try and have a go. But ultimately I gave it everything I had, and the package we had on the day delivered. I don't think there was a lot more that I could have got out of it. Not saying the package wasn't perfect, it probably was, but me as a driver, I probably got out what I could from it that day. That weekend I was probably at my limit. Going any faster or taking any more risks without the knowledge base that would probably have been foolish. But I was really happy with how everything came together, and it was important from a championship point of view, yes, to take the points, but also important to keep the pressure on Callum, because that could have yielded a better result again. And I certainly have no regrets in approaching it that way. And again, that all came from how comfortable I felt in the car. If I didn't feel comfortable going at that speed, then we wouldn't have. We would have dropped a lot more time. But it just felt really good. I felt good in myself on Sunday morning, so it was like, right, let's give it a go. And to only drop one, I think we dropped one to Callum and the first Gortnagan, which was probably the stage I enjoyed most all weekend. That one, both runs. To only drop one in there. Yes, okay, it was 1 second the wrong way, but it was a good start to a day that, again, I had no knowledge of, and it showed that it was the work that we put in, and the notes and the recce and the homework that we could try and do with the limited resources we had was paying off.
Mm-hmm. And, like, Callum, you're probably coming in, like, last year you were going into Killarney probably on the crest of a wave. Like, you had a couple of bad results, so going into Killarney, you talked earlier, you needed a good result, and, like, does that bring a different kind of a pressure on then starting out on Saturday morning?
I would say so. Probably lifts a little bit of pressure, maybe. We kind of knew that we needed a result, long and short of it. So it was kind of we had to throw caution to the wind. We pushed on hard, to be fair. Lucky enough, we started in Moll's Gap, and it's a good enough stage for us. We always have good runs on it in the past, and it's a stage we enjoy, so that kind of helped bet us in too. So we had a good run up that, and then we went to Hilly Pass, and we weren't too far away, and look, I enjoy the stages in Killarney, to be honest. I was always looking forward to getting to Killarney and the likes of Killarney and Donegal. It's rallies I enjoy, and to be fair, Killarney, like Eddie was saying, has been good to me in the past. I've always had good runs in front wheel drive cars, and the time probably back in 2019 when we first went there in R5 against Craig. We thought that was the one rally where we found our turn of speed probably. We were up to the bit, so no, it's always been good to us, and we knew if there was any going to be a rally to try and push on and try and turn the championship around, it had to be in Killarney. Do you know what I mean? So, no, it worked out well, and well, it's obviously a good boost now for the championship going forward.
Yeah. And then Eddie, you have a couple of national events coming up now too as well. Carlow now, and it's going like the entry list for it is epic.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's kind of dying to see what way this Yaris is going to go on Irish Star. So, and that's going to be interesting to have starting behind you on Sunday morning in 2 weeks' time. So, yeah, no, looking forward to it again and see as their pace after going up. We missed the round in Burr, obviously. So, I think we're back to fifth in the championship there, but look, drop rounds will count later on in the year. But no, looking forward to seeing what way we go against Josh and obviously Keith's brother then as well at the same time. So, and look, there's more people that are after been there. Aidan Ray was showing good pace in the national championship so far this year. And there's a few others that will probably come in there. Tommy Doyle, I think, showed good pace in Mayo. So, look, it's anyone that can come up the national events. It's a go straight away from stage one, and let's see what happens in 2 weeks' time, and Circle Munster 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, and then the big one, Callum, you'll be starting more than likely with number one in the door. Like, and it's your rally. It's the one that you've always said that's your favourite rally of the year. Donegall's coming down the road like a train.
Yeah, it doesn't belong coming around again, so it doesn't. So, no, look, it's the biggest rally in Ireland, doesn't it? Like, so, we were lucky enough to win it last year. We're definitely going to be trying. We're trying our utmost now to try and see if we can retain that again. But yeah, it'll not be easy. We do know that. Keith's going pretty hard there at the minute. We need to find a bit of speed there as well. And Matt there now has experienced the last 2 years racing there, and he's been racing me at the front. So it's going to be a tight battle, no doubt. So, look, hopefully we get the weather we got there in Killarney. Would make it even that wee bit more special, I'd say. But looking forward to it. It'll not be long coming around now.
Yeah, I think Matt Donegal was the one that started the Irish dream, and it's you still haven't ticked it off the bucket list. So I would say you're going there with the intention of trying to take the cup off them this year.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the plan. But it's been really enjoyable going there. Most of it was enjoyable the first time. But yeah, it's nice to go there with a bit more knowledge at least, and some knowledge of the car that we'll be going with. Again, I don't think that knowledge is going to make us any faster than we were before, but it'll just keep us up to speed with the rate that everybody's improved since then. So it's going to be a good battle there, and apparently some different stages again, so that hopefully levels the playing field off a little bit. And, it'll be exciting again. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Eddie, only your second time in Donegal. Last year was your first year there in the escort. An event you enjoyed last year, and looking forward then to this year.
Yeah, no, look, it's kind of still up in the air whether we're going to go, depending on work commitments at the moment. So we'll see how it goes in the next couple of weeks, and see that we have no big damageables in the next international round. So look, let's see how it pans out. But yeah, no, we definitely enjoyed it last year. It was the first time there, and plenty of learning. And the modified battle there last year was massive for us to even be in and see the whole scenery and learn them stages. So no, look, it's definitely something we'll do, hope to do, but we'll see it happens. But I'm sure these guys are just gonna, if we go there, they're just gonna walk on over us. But I look, we'll wait and see.
And Callum, then final word to yourself. Like you've often stated, like that Donegal is the one rally and all that. There, what makes it so special to you?
Special to me? Oh, look, it's Probably you could say it's my home rally. I'm not that far away. It's probably the closest international rally to me. It's a rally I grew up watching since a child. My dad done it. I done it now. I started off. That was my first rally when I did it in the juniors. So yeah, I've done nearly every sort of category in it down there, and yeah, obviously to get the one that's it's just a buzz and everything. I think everybody, it's a great buzz, and it's a 3-day format too. It's a big event, so it is, and yeah, look, it's just the one, isn't it? Like it's the buzz and the crack and everything goes with it as well.
So two local men that done really well in Killarney at the weekend, Colin O'Donoghue and Kieran O'Donoghue as well. Colin, we spoke once before, the Lakes, your home event, to go there and only your second or third event now in the new escort, to come away with the one, it must have exceeded all your expectations.
Yeah, it was excellent, Kevin. It was it was nice to get this one under the belt. Tried to do in 22, unfortunately didn't go the way we planned. So it was nice to come away with it this weekend.
Yeah, and like Kieran, like this is the event that from a young boy, growing up, you were standing in the ditches, like peering over the ditches, probably watching it, to be competing in it, to now go out and win the two-wheel drive, one of the most prestigious titles in Irish rally, and that must be very special to you.
Yeah, it is, Kevin, to be honest. It's only afterwards you kind of realise that we're after doing it. But yeah, like Colin said there, from back in 22 when we had the accident there, to see the opposite end of both times that you're winning and losing, and it was nice to get it.
Yeah, because Colin, like you are a small team. Like you just you had the big accident in 22. It wasn't 6 weeks later you were back in the car again. This took a lot of time, a lot of effort to to gather up the money to to get the team back together and to get all the pieces back and of the jigsaw back together again.
Yeah, no, definitely it was a massive family effort, and yeah, I've a list as long as my arm to thank people to thank, so I could start this podcast and finish it an hour later. So, but no, it was great. It kind of suited in one sense. I kind of built a house in between, and I had a little girl as well, so we kept ourselves busy in the meantime.
Yes, but like one of your big supporters has been your dad. Like a rally man himself. Like, and he knows that the good days and the bad days, and like he's always been full square behind you as well too.
Yeah, 100%. Like they'd love to do the opposite to the norm, and yeah, he's been a massive help to us down through the years, So it's very thankful for that.
Yeah, and like you said, you've took that same approach to as him. Like Kevin was never the one to conform. Do the thing the same as everybody else. And you're doing the same now with this new escort, this new engine. Like it's making a lot of people think about what they have below the bonnet.
Yeah, definitely. The amount of inquiries we got after the weekend was phenomenal. And the one thing that stood out for a lot of people was the sound. It's nice to have something different to listen to, So no, it is absolutely great what we've started with, and hopefully we'll keep going and progressing.
Yeah, and like the engine's coming. Is it Sweden that's coming over from?
Yeah, so Motors Design in Sweden built it. My father Kevin had his one since 2012, I think. No, sorry, 2018, 2017, 16. So he's had that one in his BMW, and after we had the accident, we kind of went about doing a couple of bits and pieces, making changes to suit myself, and class and the boys over. They kind of approached us and said, would you be interested in going down the road with a Volvo? And I was kind of hesitant at the start, but like after the reliability Dad had with his engine kind of popped out in my head. I wasn't too keen on taking the leap, but The reliability was definitely something that I was happy enough with, you know. So yeah, it just came about, and we struck a deal, and I'm very happy with it at the moment, you know, because it's still early days, and this is the development engine. So hopefully after the next couple of events, we'll have my own one then after we've done all the tweaking, you know.
Yeah, because if this team behind it, they're putting in the yards, they're putting in the work as well. They want to be able to sell this engine as well too. So if you're getting good results, that reflects well on them, and so it's a 1-1 for everybody.
Yeah, like just it's the effort class is putting in now is phenomenal. Like even today, we just I had a 2.5 hour phone call with him just to go through the whole weekend, and we took all the data down from out of the ECU. Robbie Thornton did that, and class will go through that for where we have to improve and where we need to make changes, you know.
Yeah. And Kieran, that you must bring great confidence to yourselves that you just have such a strong team behind you, pushing the thing on, and knowing that yourself and Colin, if you are given the right tools, you just can do it anywhere.
Yeah, as you're saying there with the new engine, we're kind of like, what's it going to be like? It really was the big question, and no, it seems to be getting there, to be honest. But having the boys behind us there, Kevin, all of them, it takes a lot of pressure off us, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. It allows you to concentrate on the job and the car as such, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because with the way the pace has gone now, Kevin, it's crazy. There's no measurement for a small error or anything there, because as you know yourself, you see the way it's gone now, so at least we just concentrate a lot on our notes there for Killarney. So getting there.
It's a huge effort being put in now before the events. Never mind during the event. There's use of a lot of DVD work, and and then when it comes to the recce, it's maximum effort right from the first scribble you put on that page right through, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially down Castleton Bear, it's down south there. It's a hard going, it's a hard couple of hours below there, when you're doing your notes, and when you come back in for the week before it, trying to get ready and pick up on things. So yeah, it was nice to get over that one.
Yeah. And Colin, the motor club changed the stages around a wee bit this year, and different territory and one thing and another. And yes, Saturday was a tough day, but I think it was a rewarding day too. Everybody says the stages were hard work. There were a lot of driving in them, but still at the same time, the smiles, the buzz that they were coming off the stages as well. Every driver was just on cloud nine. I suppose the good weather probably helps that as well too.
Oh, definitely, Kevin. Look, there's pros and cons about going down south. It's definitely very tough on the fella with only maybe one or two in service, and having to draw down, or maybe having no one in service, maybe just their own little team, that is the one problem going down there. But I think the majority of people absolutely love it, because them stages are just, you wouldn't find them anywhere else, and they're so unique, and they're pure driver stages, which I love down. I every time I hear that they're going down south, there's a grin on my face, because it is definitely spectacular down there,
Yeah, and the way that the Class 14 and the modifieds kind of shook itself out, it was probably almost a more difficult rally than if you were fighting somebody tooth and nail for every second. You had to drive a very measured rally, and that will stand to you maybe down the line as well too.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd say I've led a rally bar, Belgium like that or something. But it was a shame that Connor went out and stuff, because I was looking forward to having a cut. Myself and Connor will be good old buddies as well, and the old banter lead up to the rally and stuff was very good, see what tires he go on in the morning, and we'd look at each other. I'd say, give him a nod and shape up then from alls, but no, I was delighted with the first two stages up against him, because like I've only done 9 stages since the accident in 22, so I was pleased with what we put in the first 2 stages. Anyway, it would have been great to go to the end, but unfortunately, that's rallying.
Yeah, I like Kieran, like Connor, we've seen like everywhere he's won this year. Like he can go anywhere in the country and be fast. He's been so unlucky with mechanical issues and one thing and another. But like he has the pace, and if you're able to match him in times, you're not going to be too far away.
Oh yeah, like Connor or Colin said there, like when we came off the gap, we were happy, and we were happy to be thereabouts. Like, because what Connor's showing this year is phenomenal. Like his times are blistering. Like, to be fair to him, so yeah, it's a pity he went, because we could have seen where we are like throughout the day, and it was kind of, it's hard there when you're leading a rally and you're trying to manage the car, like especially down Castletownbere. It's very hard in car, like, so. Yeah, no, we were pleased, to be honest, but yeah, Connor's Dale come too, though.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And them last slip of stages, you're going in, the last 3 stages, the ones, it's yours to lose as such. Do you start to hear things in the car? Do you start to nearly overthink things then going into that last loop as well?
To be honest, we weren't too bad. We kind of just kept a safe pace, and like anything over that, you're in trouble. But I felt comfortable anyway. There was definitely a lot more in the car and in Colin and in ourselves. But yeah, it was nice to finish locally. Like the last stage there is kind of around our home area, so it was nice to come off that with the win. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Colin, like I suppose having somebody like Kieran with you there that's been with you for your whole career, like is there that reassuring presence, to tell you, pull back a wee bit here, we have this here, don't be doing nothing rash kind of thing.
Yeah, it's great, sure. Like Kieran sat with me in 17 for my first event, and there was a bit of a gap in between, and he's been with me since COVID, more or less, then really. But we have a good old bond together, and the crack is mighty. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think and that's what you need as well too, because like there's enough pressure on from the helmets is on, the clocks is ticking. You need somebody to help you turn off a wee bit as well.
Oh, 100%. You need to be level-headed going into these yokes, because if your head isn't there, you know what's going to happen. You're just going to have a freaking airplane accident, like which we experience, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then, as Kieran says, coming off that last stage on Sunday, close to home and all that, then like that must be really special, to see people along the road when you're driving back into town, people your friends, your family, your neighbours, like that has to be very cool.
Unreal, like. To be honest, Kevin, was very emotional, because unfortunately, a good buddy of mine and Kieran's passed away, Johnny Hickey, 2 years ago, and we got his cup, so that was the main thing why we said we'd tackle the rally the way we did, and we got it done in the end. It was great to win the rest of the cups, but that was very special for us,
Yeah, because like Kieran, Johnny was a huge part of Killarney Motor Club, not in the lakes, just the whole motor club for years. Like he was the motor club.
He was, yeah. Like anything, like if we were ever going up the country to Donegal or anywhere, like the work Johnny used to do for us would be phenomenal. Like, and like as Colin said there, they would have been very, very close buddies there in Killarney. So it's just it was an emotional one, all right, to be honest. But you're just thinking like he's with us there all weekend, so it was a nice touch, yeah. And yeah, he was a credit to Killarney Motor Club.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
A big loss, so he is.
Yeah, and then Colin, like where to next now? What's the thought process going forward now?
So yeah, we're going to go to Carlow next in 2 weeks, and hopefully then to do Donegal. But that'll depend on the new engine. if it comes in time or not, because that engine is due to go back after Carlow. So hopefully it'll be built in time. If not, we'll probably just pick and choose a couple of other events closer to the end of the year. Or might come out in something different in Cork 20, we'll see.
Oh. Leave us hanging there.
Thanks to all the boys that helped out in service, Rob, Jason Farrell, and Peter, and my father, John, the whole lot of them. Then it was massive help. If we didn't have them, we would be goose, And massive thanks to all my sponsors as well, sticking to me on board, So it was, without them, we wouldn't be doing it.
So what a weekend in Killarney, and Ioan and Sion, you just had a cracking weekend. That RC4 class is just getting better and better. Ioan, what can we say? It wasn't over until it was over. Every stage, there seemed to be either somebody else setting the fastest time or a new leader. It was epic to watch. What was it like being involved?
Oh, it was class. Yeah, it's sort of a dream weekend of rallying. Really, what a good. You couldn't hope for any better. Battle with all probably top 5 of competitors were never too far away at the shot. Really, if someone could have a good stage and jump from 4th to 1st, and like you say, swap of leaders all the time. So it was absolutely brilliant, and a great group of boys. So great crack between the stages, and really, really good.
Yeah, because it was we talked about, tenths of a second. That's what was separating you. You could be doing a 10, 15 kilometer stage, and there mightn't have been a second between 2 or 3. That is pretty epic. Sion, it must be really exciting, and even in the co-driver's seat, trying to make sure you're not going to be the cause of losing a second or a couple of seconds even.
Yeah, 100%. Because on I think stage 2 we were only 0.1 of a second faster. So as you said, it's so close, and to be in a battle like that is just amazing.
Yeah, because how hard you have won, and for somebody else to come within 0.1 of a second of that, you have to be full of respect for each and other, for all those other crews as well, because how hard you were pushing.
Yeah, exactly. So, all of us there's, as Ioan said, there's about 5 of us that's close to each other, so we can't lose time anyway, because someone is going to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. And does that every time you start a stage, you just know that it has to be inch perfect, because if you run wide, we've seen Ryan had a half spin on the Saturday or the Sunday afternoon, and that was the difference between in the battle for the lead and finishing third. It's such fine margins.
Yeah, it is, and you've got to be, like you said, inch perfect almost, and I think that's what is so crucial, even down to the prep before the rally, even down to the prep on the car. Even a slight issue could set you back enough to knock you out of the battle, or maybe a note that wasn't quite optimist and quite spot on would just knock your confidence a bit. Anything so small, and like you said, it's all fine margins, so you have to be perfect as you can be anyway. And it's literally just a half spin as Ryan had, or a full spin, sorry. Mm-hmm. It's just enough to drop him back just out the battle, so but it's what makes it exciting, really, because it's so close. It keeps the pressure on all the time.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel that that's helping you to develop then as a driver, that that you have to deliver under that type of pressure?
Yeah, 100%, and I think that's a good thing going forward to the future. I think, of course, every development you make and everywhere you go is always going to be a step up. So, if we ever get the chance, lucky enough to compete in Europe, it'll be another step again in terms of events and different roads, different competition. So I think, of course, to have this level of competition already can only be a good thing for the future. And it's only got to make the driving better, the notes better. And, it all progresses everything, I think.
Yeah, I like saying, like, you're getting an opportunity this year with the Stellantis Cup competing in Ireland, and then the BRC as well too. Like that has to push you on as well as a co-driver too, because you have to be at the top of the game. The car prep has to be perfect, the driving has to be perfect, everything has to be right.
Yeah, definitely. Like, because there's big events in the calendar this year, from Rally of the Lakes this last weekend to Donegal the next rally. They're two massive events. So yeah, prep work on both sides of a car has to be pretty well before even thinking of going over there.
You want to have as little drama, little fuss, and just get there. You want it, for the likes of yourself, you want to know where you're going. You want your maps, you want to have your homework all done before you ever land there. You want to be looking at the DVDs, have a fair idea of the layout of the stages.
Yeah, exactly. Because the more work you do home prior to the rally, I think the easier the event is, because you've read through everything, and you know what's coming in a way.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. And then, like, you want, like, to finally come off that last stage, then, and done it, and you've won the rally. Is there, like, is it relief? Is it joy, or what's going through the head? Maybe a mixture of both.
Probably a mixture of both, especially when it's been that close a battle all weekend. It's probably a bit of a relief that the pressure's off a bit. But yeah, probably the joy probably overtakes all that, to be honest. Yeah, coming into the weekend, if someone would have showed us the leaderboard at the end, it would have been would have snapped their hand off. So yeah, I was absolutely chuffed, like, and everything just clicked, everything worked, and yeah, we were just lucky at the day that we managed to win. So.
But, like, you make your luck. It's all that prep that's been done beforehand. All contributes to what Sunday delivered.
I suppose so, yeah. But look, all the boys are putting a lot of work into it. So, and I think that's probably testament to why it was so close. Everyone's putting a lot of effort into the job. So yeah, no, 100%. I think that's true. You make your own luck, but equally, it could have been anyone's rally. So yeah, we were delighted to come away with it. And yeah, of course, we needed to focus on the Stellantis Cup. So, but it was kind of a bonus to win the RC4 class, especially with Ryan McGill. He's been on fire this year, to be fair to him. So to be even battling with him last weekend, we were just delighted, like, so. And yeah, mighty crack in between the stages, so made it all good.
Excellent. And then, going forward, then Jim Clark's only a few weeks away too, and you're not going to get rid of Ryan. He's coming there as well too.
I know, he's making the trip across to try and beat me again. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's it'll be good seat time ahead of the big one, Donegal. So and yeah, it's just we're doing, I think, 4 rounds of the BRC through the Stellantis Cup anyway. So it's just we need another round in hand. So it kind of all works together to go and do the Jim Clark. So yeah, unfortunately he's on his way over. So, but yeah, of course, look, there's Kyle McBride, KCJ, all the boys are going to be there. So it's not going to be easy, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah, and Sion, from, like, your point of view too, like, Ioan has been saying about the banter, the fun, and all that. That's the enjoyable side of rally. And yes, when the cloaks are ticking, for the helmets is on, you take it very serious. But it's nice to have the wee bit of downtime between the stages as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, because I think before the start of our groom this year, we had a bit of a delay, and I think there must have been about 15, 20 of us just stood in a circle talking, having a bit of banter between the stages. So it's nice that we all get along well together as well.
Yeah, because it makes it so much easier for everybody. Like, you need that wee bit of release between the stages as well.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, 100%. And if one of us is unfortunate to come across a problem, we're all there to help each other as well.
Yeah, I think that that's the great thing about rallying. Like, the battles on the stages. Like, if there's something that can be done for another competitor between the stages, you'll get stuck in and you'll help somebody, and they'll return that favour as well.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's right. No, it's 100%. I think Sean probably knows as well as I do on that. And it's just, I think it's whoever's has an issue, everyone's happy to jump in, because we all want to race on the stages. We don't want to see anybody come across an issue, and be at the advantage of that. That's not how you want to win a rally. So you want to battle it out on the stages, and whenever there's an issue, you go and help them, because that I think that's just the way the rallying crowd is.
Yeah.
One day that favour will be returned. So it's all a good group effort, like, if you want.
Yeah, and then like you talked about now, Jim Clark and then Donagh and all too, and they, as for you guys too, being the Welsh guy, coming up towards the end of the season, Rally Carriadigan, a round of the Stellantis Cup, a round of the ERC, like this is going to be epic, and not quite at home, but not too far away either for you.
No, that's true. It's only about an hour up the road, and we'd be familiar enough with the Aberystwyth, but the stages themselves, you wouldn't really know the roads. But no, of course, this is as local as we can get, and there's always an exciting rally. Like last year was class, and I think the buzz is only going to get even bigger for this year with the ERC. So we'll see what we can do against the Europeans. But I think it'll be interesting for sure. And that is part of this Stellantis Cup is brilliant. So I'm looking forward to it already.
Yeah, like a sign for yourself too. Like it must be great to be able to, see the cream of Europe come and competing, on roads that you're a bit more familiar with.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and being so close to home as well, the crowds there will be for sure amazing. Like, so, and seeing a couple of familiar faces will be quite special.
Excellent. And then, and before we finish up, I suppose, like rallying, we know it's a very expensive sport, and you've been very fortunate. You have some good backers there behind you as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. We've got to pay thanks to all our sponsors that make it happen for us, because, as you said, it's a very expensive sport. But all the help we've had has been tremendous, to be fair. I'd just like to thank every partner involved with us, and all the team at home as well. It's just it's a big team effort, and everyone puts a lot of time into it, especially Sean, Dad, everyone involved. It's just a big team effort. So especially when a weekend goes like it did last weekend, it pays off. So hopefully we can have a few more through the year.
So Kevin, we're just over halfway through the Irish Tarmac Championship already. It's hard to believe, and it's shaping up to be, it's very interesting. Like, we didn't think a puncher could make such a dramatic difference in the championship, really.
Yeah, it's just the way these things happen, I suppose. It's never over till it's over. We saw it years and years ago with the BMW battle with Bertie Fisher and Austin McHale down as well down in those stages, and we decided the championship. Maybe not as dramatic this time, but gives everyone else a fighting chance for the moment anyway, at least for a round or two more. I was just thinking about it there today. Actually, there's 4 rounds gone out of 7, but of what's left, Donegal accounts for half the days rallying, half of what's left in days rallying. There are 3 days, like Corkwity's 1 day and Ulster's 2. So it's I think Ulster's 2 days, but definitely 3 days.
I think it's only 1 day. Actually.
Thing is that well, in that case, Donegal makes up 60% of what days are left. So the squeeze will be on from here on in. I suppose it looked, to be fair to Keith, he drove fantastically well, and then obviously he had problems, and after that, it was the guys ahead of them like were really pushing, and they were on such a pace. Even Eddie Doherty in 3rd place, like just Keith couldn't pull him in. That was just to some really fantastic drives over the weekend. I mean, even from Keith, in fact, he finished 4th, but times on his first time in some of those stages, like, was something incredible.
Yeah, like it's so hard to believe that a man who lives like within an hour's drive of the stages, like was able to go there for the first time and put in such fantastic times. And like Matt Edwards, another guy too, first time and competing on those stages as well too, phenomenal.
Well, because they're very, very brave stages. I mean, look, I like all those stages. They're fantastic stages. They're hassle to get in and out there to try and watch there. But to me, I think Ardgroom is probably one of my favourite stages in the country, and I've said that before. It's just so much work involved in it. Consett is obviously a different type of stage, but very classic in its own way. And the Healy Pass, like they're great stages. They're fantastic stages, and I think it's great to show that guys can go there, and if they're brave enough and quick enough, they can get a result there, and that's a lot of it. I think the weather was fantastic as well. It was like a throwback to the first time they ran on the first summer rally. Was it over? Went back in 1993. That was a fine year as well. It was a bit like that. I mean, there was a lot of bad years in between weather-wise, but I think really made up for this weekend or this past weekend, you know.
Yeah, because we often talk about showcasing Irish rally, and that was the picture postcard, the fantastic event, the fantastic guys competing, and then the Weller, the way it was able to show off, and that whole Beara Peninsula, it is a beautiful part of the world, and to take that now and show that around the world, that shows what a good product we have here.
Does actually, and I mean it's it's around the Wild Atlantic Way and all that kind of stuff as well. As you said, it's pure postcard stuff down there in that weather, So yeah, it was great to see it, and it was it was fantastic to see such a battle going on down there. But yeah, I think to be honest, you won't find many better places to go rallying anyway. I said it might be the easiest place to get in and out of when you're trying to traverse stages or trying to get into watch or whatever. But I think you'll ask most drivers that would do rallying, they would probably rank those stages up there with the best in anywhere.
Yeah, because you've seen them coming off the end of the stages there with Kelly and Andy, and the blood's pumping and they're just buzzing from the adrenaline rush they get from those stages.
Yeah, you're bound to. And it's funny because again, I always refer to the two cause hit in our groom. They're just so different in characteristic, but they're two very, very tough tests in their own right. They're just you take you kind of the flow of our groom of Cod's Head, and then all of a sudden you're into the real brave stuff, and the brows and the twists and the turns that. Our groom is relentless when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think Plum said it years ago. There must be over 100,000 bros or something on the stage or something. It was mad. And it is like it is. I think it's proper rallying roads, really. To be honest with you.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And Callum and Noel taking the one as well too. They must have been downhearted. The last two events just haven't went their way, and it's just such fine margins. And both times it were such simple mistakes, but with huge consequences. To turn that now will hopefully turn the season around for them again now too.
Yeah, and I think it's real credit to them because they it could be very easy to put the head down and say, look, we're not doing any more. We've had enough of it, But obviously there was the incentive of trying to win the rally for the third time. But they put it up to Keith and to Matt, and obviously probably got a bit of luck this time in what happened with Keith. Keith's bad luck was Callum's good luck, but Callum drove superbly well anyway. Really, really well, because Beara hasn't been used all that often over the years. It has been, maybe a few times, but so we wouldn't say Callum would be an absolute expert in the stages down there either. Not like some, but no, he'd probably know better than some as well. But by the same token, the way things had gone, it would be very easy just to go in there very cautiously and just kind of try and get to a finish. But the fortune favours the brave, and to be fair, he was very unlucky in West Cork. He was very unlucky in the circuit, and he got his break this time around.
And to hear him at the end then too, the guy has steeped in rallying history. When he's mentioned the likes of Billy Coleman, Bertie Fisher. For him now to be regarded and and along with those greats in Killarney, it just means so much to him as well.
Yeah, it does. I think it probably would to any rally driver really that does Killarney, because it's such a difficult rally to win. Wild's Gap to me isn't the same challenge as it was 30 years ago, because it's probably a lot wider and a lot faster than it used to be, and it's really like a motorway. It's a classic place to go and watch the stage up at the Gap itself. But when you go down to those Beara stages, or even the new ones they were using on Sunday, they're tough stages. They're a challenge, and when you come through 14 stages of that, you'll know that you've been in a bit of a battle. So I think it's well deserved. He's there with some of the great drivers there now. So that's a nice thing to look back on and say you've done it.
Yeah, that's for
and
sure.
why stop at 3? He might go for 4 now.
Yeah, why not? And then you mentioned him earlier too, Eddie Doherty has been a revelation this year. The way he has just went about his job, adapting between the Escort and then going over to the R5 Skoda. And he said at the start of the year he's just going to take his time, build up the pace, and he has done that so methodically, and it's really paying dividends for him now.
It is, and especially when you consider he had no luck with the car in Galway, where the car really didn't perform from it all. So really, West Cork was his first chance to kind of, see what the pace was like at international levels, and he's gotten quicker, even during the national rallies in the meantime. So I think, to be fair, it was great to see him up there with the Sharpie and able, even to hold Keith off. To be honest, I know Keith was that little bit faster than him on the Sunday, but there was never really a huge danger to his position because he drove so well. His times are unbelievably consistent. He
managed to get up really, really well. Because it could have been so easy to start overdriving whenever you have somebody that keeps breathing down your neck.
Exactly, especially with some of the caliber of Keith behind you. But at the same time, Yeah, but he's very cool. Like he's very cool. He's very, very good driver, very steady, and just he is. And I think he's getting quicker and quicker. I think there's a little more to come there. As he gets more confident in that car. I mean, we always look to see who will be the next person coming through that might challenge the status quo. So it's interesting to see what will happen now with Eddie now as the year goes on, and see if he goes to Donegal or whatever, because he's had a couple of very good strong drives in Killarney and in West Cork now. So it'll be nice to see if he can build on that.
Yeah, and like another man that started to come really good there, like he had, like he said it himself during the interviews, just couldn't get his head in gear on the Saturday, but come Sunday, David Kelly, like some fantastic stages on Sunday.
And David just reminded me a little bit of where Johnny Greer was last year or two, getting quicker on the Sunday, maybe very steady and cautious starting off. But I suppose again the car is new to him this year, so it's going to take a bit more of a learning curve. But again, his times are very impressive, and he got really stuck into it on Sunday, and get a good solid result. I think it was 6th overall. I think so. That's up to fine results is after getting out back to back.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then then we're going into the modified, and like the modified battle in Killarney, like it was a kind of a funny one. Like the top guys, the class 14 guys, were gone very quickly. Kevin Donagh had to drive his own race, but he wasn't registered for the points. Like so, it was like for the guys that was registered for the championship, they were having their own battle.
They were. And I said having their own battles, even nose to tail on 1 or 2 stages as well with Frank and Damien. But it was, and it was a good battle. I mean, they've been pushing each other well all year, the two boys anyway. So and two characters. But I mean, look, Damien came out on top in this particular one again, and probably has built up a nice bit of a lead. But Frank won't go away yet. Frank will have a bit to say about it. Kevin Keller is still hanging there as well. Those three are the three that are look like they're putting away from everybody else now at this stage anyway. So unless because Kevin goes to Donegal and gets another top result, who knows? But he's just running out of time now, I'd say, in terms of events to make up ground. But you never know. Never know,
right? And then what can we say? The RC4. Every time we speak about these guys, it's just getting crazier and crazier. Like the amount of lead changes, the amount of guys setting fastest time at the weekend. It was almost like pulling names out of the hat. Like, and young Lloyd then from Wales just was only really over the last 3 stages he made the difference.
Yeah, but he's exceptionally quick, and the more rallying he's done in Ireland, the quicker he seems to be getting. And really brave driver with it. Now I was away for a lot of the weekend, so I didn't keep as much of a close eye on it, but I could see that the usual trio were up near the top. Ioan Lloyd, you had Keelan Grogan, and you had Ryan McHugh, and it's great to see it's being swapped around, because those 3 riders, each one is coming out on top from time to time, and they're pushing each other the whole time. So, and even like Kyle McBride had a good run as well. So I mean, all these guys are they really know how to push those cars to the limit. All right, there's no two ways about it. But yeah, look, it's shaping up. I don't know what way that championship is faring out, or who's leading classes on that.
I would say like Ryan's probably because he's had Owen has had some bad luck as well, but this was like hopefully this is the turnaround of his season as well too. And Keelan Grogan, another guy, he finished second there at the weekend. These guys, it gives you great heart for the future when you see them coming through.
It won't. I mean, as well, if assuming that they all go to Donegal, they've all had Donegal experience in the past year or two anyway as well. So I think they'll be pushing on from there again. But I would, it's not an easy one to be calling. I think Donegal can be very, very close.
That's for sure.
So we'll see how it goes, but it should be a good battle. I think even outside of those 3, there's always someone who steps up to the mark as well, and shows a cat among the pigeons somewhere.
Yeah, because there's a young guy coming over now from Scotland, Proudlock as well too.
Yeah,
and he set some fantastic times there over the weekend as well. And if he can, bring the wee bit of consistency with the speed as well too, I think there's another wee star there as well too.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Matthew Boyle and Craig Rahel. The list goes on and on.
It is, and I see, to be fair, these boys, some of these are in their first year of competing here as well. So another year like Ryan McHugh and Keelan Grogan, might have all a year or 2 behind them at least here at this stage. A lot of these guys are in their first year of rallying the RC4 cars, so I think give them another 12 months and you could see 6 or 8 guys up there, doing battle, and see what happens then.
Yep, that's it. And then the other one that we always talk, such great reviews about it as well too. The historic championship as well too. Alan Ring won at the weekend, but I don't think he's registered for the championship. But a real ding dong battle beyond that as well too.
It was. It's interesting because Thomas Davies didn't do the rally, and Thomas is miles ahead of everybody else going into that, and still is actually, as it turns out. But Neil Williams had been second, but didn't do the rally. But actually, it seems to be Ray Breen now has gone into second by fairly rudimentary calculations. Yes. But it's fairly close because You have Duncan Williams has got a few good points. You have Craig McWilliam got points out of it, and you had who's the other one? Neil Williams didn't do the bad. He's in 38, but you three or four guys there, kind of close doing battle. Ray was very unlucky to go retire in the last stage of West Cork. I mean, only for that, he probably would be challenging Thomas up there now as well. He'd probably be just within one event away from him. But yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, there was some good battles. Fergus Amaro had a great drive. He was registered, even though very few points got up to now. But Fergus always goes well there anyway. And Duncan obviously is the reigning champion, so he's going to be consistent. Craig McWilliams gone very well, on that beautiful Mark 1 escort. So as I said, he's, by my reckoning, he's third in the championship at the moment, just behind Ray Breen. So yeah, I think Thomas is safe enough for the time being. I don't know if he plans to do Donegal, but I think if he does, he'll probably near enough. If he gets a good result there, he'll probably near enough wrap up the historic title with 2 rounds to go there almost. He's so far ahead.
But then, like Duncan is he's a wily old fox. He knows how to play the percentage game. He knows how to bring it home as well.
Oh, he does. He always does. And that car is a fantastic looking car. It's a lovely sounding car, lovely looking car, and and Duncan's a good guy. I'd love to see him do well over here. He's a great supporter of Irish events. Himself and Alan Watkins are over for, for every Irish round almost. The stage, I love to crack over here, and they just, and you need that kind of thing as well. You need that bit of variety. You need that bit of people coming in, and obviously I think in Donegal to be some of the Welsh boys will be coming over as well, historic lads as well, from what I believe. So, that'll all add to it as well. I think, the historic championship is going well. I mean, their cars are just fantastic. They're, probably didn't have as many of the top end drivers in Killarney as maybe, we would have seen in probably Galway, for example. West Cork had a good share of them, but not all of them either. But maybe Donegal will bring them all out to play now again, and we'll see how that goes.
And then, Kevin, we better not forget about the juniors as well, too. They, their championship is like a tooth and nail there as well.
Yeah, and I was looking at the points. That one, this is the real close one. Barry McIntyre had no luck in West Cork. I think the drive shaft went the first stage or second stage in West Cork, but he's leading the championship now. He had a very good result last weekend, so by my reckoning, he's on 40 points. And then you have a very close battle. I know Kyle Brown, obviously Paul Brown, son from the sponsor of the junior championship. Kyle was going very well. I'm not sure what happened. He lost time in the last stage, maybe possibly an off, but he's still in second place, and probably would have been leading the championship with maybe a higher result in Killarney, but he's still well within it. And then you have Graham Roach and Sheehan both on 30 points. So, there's a good battle going on there. There's 6 drivers in there with maybe one win would probably put the last man up into, or the 6th place man into the lead, that kind of way, which is very good to see, because normally junior championship tails off after a couple of rounds. This year there's 6 drivers in there, so it looks interesting at the moment. I think we see who goes to the goal now and see who will kind of push forward there. I know Ronan Dorian won in Killarney, but he's not registered for the championship as far as I can see. So, and I think he's only gone anyway, so he'll probably be one of the favourites for the junior. Yeah, he'll be one of the favourites for the home rally. But any of those boys after that, though, it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. I'd be looking at Kyle Brown or Barry McIntyre, I'd say probably, but again, who knows who else to step out of the bunch after that.
So I think that really told the story of the rally there from all the different angles. So really appreciate all those guys, taking their time out, and good to chat to them. I also got a chance then to catch up with Donagh Kelly and Rory Kennedy, and they're competing in the European Historic Championship, and they've done a couple of rounds of that, just to get their thoughts on that and a few other bits and pieces as well. So Donagh and Rory, you've been over now and done, I suppose, 3 rounds of the European Rally Championship. You've done a round last year, but you've done the first couple of rounds this year. Done a bit of a change, but is it something you're enjoying so far?
Yeah, here it's something very different. I have to say, it's a different type of rally, and I wouldn't say that it's not as serious, but it's not as pressured, and it's quite enjoyable. You're getting to see different parts of the world or parts of Europe. You're getting to race, I suppose, historic cars, but not at the end of the field. You're at the front of the field. You are the main rally, and you're getting to compete with some fabulous drivers from all over Europe. And it's as much as it's relaxed when the helmets are on. It's full tilt. There is no quarter given. So it's it's enjoyable and very, very different.
Yeah, and the range of cars, we see historic rally in Ireland, for the last few years it's really been an escort challenge almost, the M3, and there's a few different makes now starting to filter in, But the European Championship, it's such a spread of cars too. Like not only at the top of the field, but right down through all the different classes. Like there's Skodas, there's Lancias, there's Audi Quattros, the M3 there. Like the escort. There could be 2 or 3 escorts in the whole field.
Yeah, the escorts aren't the car of choice by any means, and like you say, there's a wider range of cars, and I suppose there's some guys there that are taking these very special cars out, driving them fast. But I think when you come to the top of the field, you have guys like Lucky in the Lancia Delta, and he goes fast. Zippo in the Audi Quattro. You have an array of Porsches, and when you're sitting behind a Porsche and you see it going off the line and when it hunkers down, I tell you what, there's something to be said about the beauty of a Porsche. But then you have a lot of fast M3s. You've got some Toyota Celica GT4s now. You've got the Subaru Legacies. So you have real formidable cars to compete with, So I think the little Escort is kind of nearly lost in that company,
And Rory, like we've often talked, and you always says, the car that you still have, the one that always stands out to you is the M3. So to get the opportunity to get back into the M3, but also to compete in some of the, fine events across Europe, it must still be like, maybe like, I don't know, is ambition the right word, or is it still something that you really look forward to, going out and competing in those events?
Oh, well, Kevin, the appeal to me was obviously the events, but the likes of last year, we were fortunate enough to do the San Remo Rally. The San Remo Rally to me, as a child way back years ago and growing up, like San Remo Rally was Mickey Biasi and Walter Roll, Marco Alain, and all these type of drivers on these incredibly twisty, challenging roads in Western Italy, And when we finally got there to do the rally, there was a real nostalgic touch about it, and to have an M3 and drive it at the level Donagh drives it at, and to be competitive and all, it's absolutely exhilarating still. And the appeal of it for me is the M3 obviously is well, very close to my heart, as you know, but still not to get the chance to compete again at that level in a car that good with a team like Mats van der Brand, who runs us it's like a works team, and they're excellent in everything they do, and they keep us going when things look very bad sometimes. But those rallies, that type of rally, the recce's, everything about them is incredibly different, but incredibly enjoyable as well.
Yeah, because as Donagh says, like when the helmets is on, you're full race mode. But between the stages and and the evenings and all, there's a more relaxed vibe. You're not rushing home to go through the DVD or whatever. There's it's a different vibe.
Well, there's a different approach, even though we take it very seriously. Now, don't get me wrong, we put a fair effort into it. Now, that's not just a jolly. It's like any other rally for me and for Donagh, who we go and we prepare as best we can and put a big effort into the recce and into the notes. But it's also important to say that on these rallies, we have chase cars and service at the end of every stage, which is unlike anything we have at home anymore. Traditionally, we always had that years ago on the Circuit of Ireland, Donegal rallies, Galway, Killarney, and so on. But on these rallies, you have full service pretty much after every stage, and it's very reassuring to know that the boys are there. If you can get the car off the stage, the chances are they could keep you going if you had a problem. But another limitation, Kevin, that we have that maybe not a lot of people know about is our tyre quantities are limited. Maybe 10 tyres per event.
Right.
Providing that's dry tyres. Now, if it's wet or it's declared a rain rally, then the wet tyres there's no control on them, but we're restricted to 10 tarmac tyres. So it's all about managing your tyres and getting the best out of them as well.
Yeah, and like Donagh, that then you have to the strategy always come into do you start looking and seeing where can you maybe swap over tyres or put on a set that's already been on if there's a short stage coming up and things like that there.
Absolutely. When you're limited to 10 tires, and it all depends on the weather. Like we had a real debate going into Czechoslovakia about having sevens and fives, and the mix of those. And it turned out we didn't use either. We never had a slick tire on for the weekend. It was wet tires all weekend, but. In the likes of Costa Brava tires, certainly were a big factor, and the guys pushing at the front were taking the gamble on the harder tires, but there was a couple of damp stages where it really cost them, you know. So yeah, it's just a different aspect, you know, but it's all part of the fun. And as Rory says, you know, when you have a chase crew or a service crew at the end of every stage, you may only get it wrong for one stage, you know, and it is kind of, there's something relaxing about coming off the stage. You meet the crew, you might have a coffee and bolt on your set of tires or whatever, and off you go again. So it's it's just, you know, it's competitive, but you have that element of relaxation. It's not so stressful, you know. If you do have the wrong tires on, get to the end of the stage and change them, you know.
And this year now we've seen, like, you know, the likes of Martin McCormick, Ernie Graham, who's been a long supporter of the historic European Championship, like Harold Bunton. It must even be nice to have, you know, a few guys in that you can kind of have the same language as well. You know, rallying's a worldwide language. You can sort of point and hand gestures, but like that, to actually speak to them, it must be nice as well.
Here it's always, I suppose, having an Irish contingent is always nice, but I have to say that the rallying community is welcoming anyway, you know, and I think we're lucky that English is probably widely spoken across nearly all jurisdictions. So certainly it's not, the language barrier doesn't get in the way at all. But having the guys out, and you know, guys like Marty and that are super fast, but good fun in the middle of it all, you know. And Ernie Graham, we're very lucky as Ernie. We hitch a ride on his plane sometimes, you know. But again, Ernie has done some rallying. Like, I couldn't believe, I asked him recently how many rallies he'd done, and I think it was close to 500, you know. And it's like, you know, that's nearly 5 times the rallying I've done, you know. And he's a world of knowledge, and again, gives us all the kind of the tips of the different towns and jurisdictions that we're going into as to where we're at, etc. You know, so yeah, it's here. It's a great association, you know, and every now and again you're out in the stages, you see the tricolour, which is gives you a bit of an old tickle as well.
For sure. And like Rory, like we should mention, like Ernie Graham, like a former European historic champion, like he has, you know, ploughed the furrow for all you guys to come, and like as Donagh said there, he has the knowledge, and he's very welcome and very happy to share that knowledge as well.
Oh, for sure. We've competed with Ernie now for a good few events, and as Donagh says, he's more than open and helpful, and you know, telling us the score on different rallies, and you know, that last rally in particular, Donagh, we were at in the Czech Republic, a very difficult rally, very wet, treacherous rally in places, like, and Ernie had a world of information on that for us before we started, which was a great help. But also, Kevin, it's important to say that you know, Ray Breen has joined us on a few rallies. Alan Ring has also joined us on a few rallies, and a few others. And it is very reassuring to have that Irish contingent there, because not only is it good for us, but it's good for the events too. You know, that international element, and drivers of the caliber of Ray Breen, ourselves, Marty, Ernie Graham, Alan Ring, are all add to the event, and our cars are all very good, and you know, it all adds to the whole atmosphere of it. And we service with Ernie in the same team and Marty in the same team, and Mats van der Brand looked after the cars for it, and I must say it works very well, and it's great to be part of.
Yeah, and like Donagh, you're now you have the BM now. You've been competing in it now for like nearly 2 years. Like, does it still give you the same buzz every time you strap yourself in?
Yeah, I'd say it's only in the last few events, Kevin, that the car has actually been sorted. You know, we had a lot of small issues with it prior to that. There was always something not right with it, but in the last couple of events now, really, you know, started to get from, I suppose, Killarney. We had a good run in Killarney, and we were feeling comfortable in the car. And unfortunately, we had a puncture in Costa Brava that kind of destroyed a good result. And on the last event, I think we could have been second if I wasn't so over exuberant. They ended up in a field for 20 seconds. So, but you know, we were really enjoying that event, and for some reason it suited us, and the conditions were extremely challenging. But at the same time, we were going rightly. So yeah, I love the car. It's such a well prepared car. Mats does a super job, and as Rory says, you know, you're basically with a works team. You know, there's nothing these guys don't have in the van with them and they will turn every stone to keep you in a rally. In Costa Brava, one of the other competitors, a Swiss competitor, had a major collision with an Armco barrier on maybe the second last stage. And now when you saw his car, you said that's him out. And these guys had him back out to finish the rally. It was an amazing bit of work to watch them actually straighten this thing up, because he hit this barrier. He must have hit it at 80 or 90 mile an hour. And it was far from straight. So, yeah, Mats is he's a great, I suppose, advocate of the BMW, but the professionalism in his team, you're with a works team, basically.
Yeah, and we should mention the Donegal man, Wally Rogers, who has become, working his way into that team. Wally has become from, very humble beginnings, a very sought after guy, especially when it comes to the M3.
Yeah, well, here Willie knows what he's doing, and not alone on an M3 in nearly any rally car or car for that matter. And it was good fun at the end of Czechoslovakia. The three of us getting our photograph taken. Three Donegal men in the middle of an Eastern Bloc country. So it was doing a bit of rallying. So it was good.
And Rory, there's another round coming up now in a few weeks' time, and does the work already started for that, or how much prep goes into it before you head away?
There's a lot of work goes into it, Kevin, and arranging everything, and we're very lucky with the team. We're very experienced on travelling to events throughout Europe, which takes a big workload off us because they've done it all before and they've been there and so on. So really, there is quite a bit of correspondence between us all to make it happen. The next round we're going to is an Asturias rally in northwestern Spain, and we haven't done it. Donagh or I have not done this rally before, even though quite a few Irish competitors have been in the past. But we're reliably informed through our good friend Ernie again that the rally is very much like something you would expect back home here in Ireland, because the roads are narrow and twisty and mountain passes. And believe it or not, the climate in that area of northern Spain is we would like back home here in Ireland, because it's very green. I've seen the videos from the previous years, and the organisers for every event post the videos of the stages online, so all the international competitors can spend their time, if they've got it, to go through the DVDs before you get there. But I've watched a few of them, and very similar to home, and really twisty roads, so very demanding rally again. So again, we're taking them one at a time, Kevin, and seeing how we get on. And one result, would lead to the next event and so on. So we'll reappraise after this, or review it all after this rally and see what the next one might be. But certainly, in middle of May is our next one in Asturias, northern Spain.
Yeah, very good. And Donagh, now I suppose it's almost 2 weeks ago now since Deja Vu Northwest, and you yourself, Eamon, and Vincent Bonner had the two legacies and the Mant out, and what a buzz was created with those three cars on the day.
Yeah, it's a great privilege to be able to take those cars out. For myself in the Colin Cray car, and Eamon in the Richard Burns car, and then obviously Vincent in his own car. It's for me, it's an honour. It's as much as we've invested in these cars. Getting to do events like that, it's a great buzz, and I still get such a thrill out of it. And it's the you kind of have to pinch yourself sometimes. That this is all real,
Mm-hmm. And then to get the opportunity to bring them into your own local town, we're in the museum as well too, which is very special. And then even to bring them down into your hometown and look at this, thing, that has to be very cool.
Yeah, here I think you have to credit the Kennedys for getting the Deja Vu to stop off in the town again. Because it is a little bit disruptive in one sense, but a great cooperation with Garda Síochána, and obviously then the Porrick and Jonathan, Rory, and that they move mountains to make this stuff kind of very, very available and doable, So, and it creates a bit of a buzz. So yeah, it's a great great buzz to drive around the diamond in your own hometown in Colin McRae's Subaru Legacy. Yeah,
And the guards waving you on whenever you're giving it a rev as well.
It's then he didn't get a bit of a clear road. I went around a few times, but here, look, it's a great honour, and obviously having such a gang down at the museum again, it also creates a bit of a buzz locally, and the local school we're in, they collected a bit of money for their various projects, and we had different suppliers locally providing some food and beverage, etc. So everybody gets a little bit of a turn, it's a bit of a buzz, and here, that's great.
Yeah, and then somebody like Bex Williams, who has travelled the world, seen the world circus, the World Championship circus and the European as well. For her to come to the Northwest as well, and she just loved it. The atmosphere around the whole thing. She was just blown away. I was speaking to her up at the museum and down in Donegal town, and she was just everywhere. Like wow. It's great to see what we have to offer as equal to anywhere in the world.
Yeah, well, look, I think our enthusiasm for motorsport and rallying in particular is undeniable. So, and I think for the likes of Bex, who obviously is Welsh, where Wales was such a stronghold for rallying through the 70s and 80s, and I suppose then kind of towards the end of the 90s started to fall away, and now it's nearly non-existent, compared to where it was. The RAC passed through Wales, then it was Rally GB, which was based in Wales. All that's gone, so I suppose you look at the likes of our I suppose rallying community and just how enthusiastic and infectious the whole thing is. Yeah, you'd be proud, and I'm sure she was getting that in spades.
That's for sure. And Rory, you weren't part of the deja vu, but you could see the buzz it created around the area and all too. Those kind of events have to be welcomed, and probably maybe embraced more, because they're coming into the towns, they're coming into showing the wider public what we have.
Yeah, it's showing the wider public what we have, and also it's a great platform to showcase the county as well. Don't forget, because we get to tour all these cars around all these remote areas and so on. But I'm a big fan of Deja Vu. I've been pretty much part of them all since it started, with exception of this one. Unfortunately, I was unavailable for this one. But nevertheless, it's such very positive vibes coming from it. And Donegal Town was a hive of activity, as was the Donagh's Museum. And I think the event in Sligo too was a huge success. So long may they continue, because the cars are fantastic, and lots of people have these cars in hibernation, and they get to roll them out and tour them around for everybody to see, and really that's a joy in itself.
Yeah, and then you talked about showcasing the county. You also had an event there a couple of weeks ago, in the ATU in Letterkenny, and showcasing where you can go from Donegal. For young people, that was an inspiring night.
Well, I have to agree, Kevin. It's something that I don't believe has ever been done before in these parts anyway. And, just as people understand, basically, we have a lot of people living in our own communities all around us who are part of all sorts of incredible organisations, none so much as even the Ferrari Formula One team, the Toyota World Rally team, lots of other people working in the industries. And we come up with this idea that we'd maybe try and bring these people together and sort of ask them to give us a story of their careers to date and how they got to where they are at the moment. And within our target audience, obviously, was young people, in transition year at school, leaving cert, people who are already doing trades. So we invited all them along, and as you know, because you're a big part of it yourself, we were overwhelmed by the turnout. We expected maybe 30 or 40 people, and I think we got 137 people turned up on the night. And our guest panelists were excellent in conveying the message, and giving the younger people the benefit of their experience and how they got there. And there was huge interaction between the speakers and the audience. And I have to say, I think it was a very positive experience for everybody.
Yeah, Donagh, you've long been a champion of Donegal. You have put Donegal in the front and centre of everything you do. Those kind of nights have to be, celebrated, I suppose, maybe is a good way of putting it, isn't it?
I think you have to sometimes look back in at what we actually have in the county in terms of talent and ambition and achievement. So the guys that were assembled for that evening are working at the top level in motorsport in the world. So that is what we can achieve, and it is important that we encourage young people who may be a little bit lost on their journey, where they're trying to pick a career, etc., and they may not see that these ambitions are easily achievable, but with the right direction and guidance, these young kids can do anything. So, and it's a huge credit to Rory and you guys that came up with the initiative, put it together, and again, to showcase what can be done, and if only one person gets the spark from that evening and carves a career for themselves in motorsport, well, then it was worth doing, and you never know longer term, could we end up with an engineering type curriculum, in Donegal, who knows, but certainly for me, Donegal it's where we're from, it's what we're proud of, and if we can at all promote and encourage, it's a great thing to do.
Kevin, it's great to hear of those initiatives, having that, open night for people to come along, and maybe people who wouldn't know much about the sport or how to get into the sport, to hear, from those who have been involved, what the opportunities are and how to get into it. Like, absolutely fantastic initiative. Really, really like the sound of that.
Yeah, like can you imagine like being in TY or fourth or fifth year, like just that, like I was there that night and just like, you could see the possibilities just open up in front of you. Like, oh, if I was a whole lot years younger. And then Connor, you also got a chance to catch up with Jon Armstrong and Aoife and Hannah as well.
I did, yeah. So literally, they were fresh back from the Canaries, which was round 2 of the ERC, and it was just a chance. John and Owen Tracy had a fantastic run in the Fiesta, and then also Aoife and Hannah had a brilliant run in the Junior ERC. So thought it was a great opportunity to catch up with them. John, thanks for joining us. What do you call it? Another strong result in the Canary Islands.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Connor. And as you said, another very strong result for us in our European Rally Championship with the M Sport in the Ford Fiesta. To get 7th is really good. But I think overall, just to have pace close to the front runners was really good for me, good for the car, good for the whole package, really. Tires, Owen, co-driving. Just to prove that we can set some competitive stage times. But we obviously started off with 8th in Hungary, so now 7th, and hopefully it'll keep going that way. Maybe 6th the next time, and by the end of the year we might get on the podium or a win. So we'll keep pushing now, so can we improve now in the upcoming rallies.
And the Canaries, weather looked cracking anyway on the TV, but it's 13 stages over 2 days. So is it pretty much a sprint on both days?
Yeah, it's a very compact rally. There's a couple of long stages, especially on the final day. You've got a 27-kilometer stage, but the loops aren't super long. And actually, the format of the rally is quite relaxed too. On the Friday, first stage was after 9 and you're finished up by 6, so it's not long days like you have in some other rallies or the WRC, but it's a demanding rally from the pre-event. When you're doing your recce and everything, it was quite compact, and the recce there is difficult because it's all in one day. Well, we do it in all one day. You can do it the following morning, but if you do your full day and then you do some more stages the following morning, then our shakedown was like at 11. So you want to give yourself some space, but and also with it being an island that's for tourism, for holiday makers. The roads are very busy compared to some other rallies, so the recce can be quite a challenge. But thankfully, I've had 2 years experience of the rally in terms of going there and doing the recce. And last year with the Rally 3, we had a really good event. So I was trying to capitalize on, the knowledge, the familiar surroundings, and just stay relaxed and try to do the best job we could. So yeah, that was the way we were attacking the event, and just see what our pace would be like then.
And what do you call it? Surfaces, like when you kind of see it in the TV and stuff, you're watching, the surface looks like it's pretty smooth, but I presume there's probably places quite mixed and it's not all smooth tarmac. And how does that affect your tire choice, or what are your options?
Yeah, tire choice for that rally is pretty straightforward. You would be looking for Pirelli and RA5, which is a hard tire. Because it's so, there is some smooth places, but in general, the tarmac over there is very abrasive. It's sore on the tires, and the corners. You're corner to corner, really loading and leaning on the tire, so it's big stress on the compound. So you need something hard to deal with that. And even in the mountains, you can get some fog, some mist, some rain. And yeah, it's important to make sure that if you do come across some damp sections, that you can deal with it. And yeah, we didn't have anything like that on the rally, so it was all dry, all plain sailing. It was an easy choice. It was just deciding when to use your new tires and when to take some used tires as well, to leave yourself in the best position. And this rally, we tried to leave 4 new tires for the last loop, and I think that worked out quite well for us to hold on to the position we were in, to fight with the guys around us.
And stage 1, the super special, takes you indoors into the basketball arena for donuts, and especially doing now in the Rally 2 car, a proper car for donut. And like, there must be some buzz, for you as a driver and for Owen as a co-driver going into that stadium.
It's definitely a really cool experience. And even before the rally got underway, we had like an F1 style back of a trailer being driven around the stage, to wave at the fans and everything, which is really cool. But it is a stage where you can lose everything. We've seen that, the last 3 years, there's been people who have taken wheels off or went off. I went off in the first corner 2 years ago with the Rally 4 car. This year, someone took a wheel off in the stadium. It's just riddled with stuff to hit, and it's really slippery. It's more slippery than it looks. So even though it's really it's class because of so many spectators, you're going into the basketball stadium, you're doing donuts, and it's really spectacular. But it's on one hand, you're also just dreading it because you don't want to make a mistake, and you want to push and not drop too much time. But yeah, it's so easy to pick up damage. And yeah, thankfully we got through okay. And yeah, it's just a really complicated stage because you actually literally leave the service park with cold tires, and you have like 250 meters to the rival control, so heat or anything in the tires and the brakes. So but I think it's really important to bring rally to the general public like that. That they're able to sell tickets for people to go to their local basketball stadium and watch rally cars come in and do a donut and do a hairpin and out again. It's a really cool concept, and yeah, obviously it's part of the game for us. You have to get through and try to then focus on the real action.
And you mentioned the pre-event drive around in the back of a lorry, and you had Hayden pad in hand, you a packet of tissues.
Yeah, it was Seb Scott was getting up to some mischief, and then I was getting up to some mischief with stage ends with Seb as well. It's related to Star Wars, but yeah, it was it's always really cool, to be honest, to be at the top level of ERC now to be one of those drivers, to be able to mingle with people like Hayden or Mads or the best drivers in this category of car. It's really cool. So yeah, we definitely just try to soak it all in and enjoy it. I think we're very lucky to get the chance to be there and to rally in some of the most amazing places and to be with some of the best drivers is really cool. And then to fight with them on the events is the ultimate goal, to show that you can do it. So yeah, it was a really enjoyable week from that side. And yeah, thankfully no nosebleeds this time.
And you mentioned, where you're at now, in the top end, and this, the stage end interviews and stuff, and the coverage you're getting, like, great for yourself, but look, fantastic for you, who is very reliant on getting sponsors on board as well. It's a great opportunity to showcase the sponsors too.
100%. I've got sponsors who are involved in rallying themselves. Some sponsors who aren't, and I think for them to be able to follow the action and to see their brand being represented, in coverage that essentially all day long, is brilliant. I really like the ERC format from that angle because you're one of the top drivers. You're getting every stage showing you go through. Everyone can see what your comments are at the end of the stage. It just works really well, and I think also for the team and for the car, it was a great chance to show the capability of the whole package, and that we're comfortable, we're enjoying driving those amazing roads with the Fiesta, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. And it's funny how it just becomes the new normal too, because like it was still quite new for having stage ends and at the end of every stage, and yeah, then it sort of just after one rally it becomes the new norm, and once you come to the stop line, you're trying to get everything off, your gloves and your helmet and everything. So yeah, it's really, really cool, and I think it's a great championship from that side that you can really show off to your partners and sponsors.
And get into Friday, and some really solid times on Friday. You finished the day 7th overall. I think you were 10 seconds off a podium, 22 seconds or something off the lead. Like, really strong position. And despite setting the good times, you were still adjusting and tweaking the Fiesta throughout the day. Like, what were you looking for, in addition to what you'd been doing?
Yeah, it's quite a special type of event in terms of it's abrasive tarmac, very twisty, and more or less it's for the longer corners is where you will make or lose time. So you're always trying to find a good balance where the car is turning in and you've got enough rotation from the rear so that you in the middle of the corner the car is almost sliding at the back, but not too much. From the outside, you mightn't say the car's oversteering, but it's a rotation at the rear. So you're always focusing on that element, or at least for me, in those rallies, that's where the time can be made or lost. I actually think on Friday we were in a really good place. Everything was working really well with the stages we were doing. We were able to get into good rhythm. But it's only my first rally with the car on tarmac, so obviously there's going to be areas to investigate what works for me, what doesn't work for me. So that was just more or less doing that. And even though we had a really long pre-event test, you do get used to the test road, and you just start to get into. Well, I think I drive very consistently anyway, so sometimes what may feel the most natural to you or the best option might actually be the fastest. So I think that's something that I'm learning at the moment with Rally 2 is there's difference between what feels the best and what actually is the best, I think, especially in a rally environment, whenever you have to react to a 20-kilometer stage rather than a 2-kilometer test road. So yeah, it's all about learning. But I think the car was in a really good place, and we showed some really good times on the Friday. And there was the stage that I had a crash on in 2022. I hit a barrier. I think a lot of people have probably seen the video, but even just to be only a handful of seconds off the fastest time both times through there, and to be pushing really on the limit of our experience, it was really nice. Just almost another thing to sweep under the mat. So no, we're really happy with how our pace was. I think we lost a little bit of ground to the local drivers, the Spanish drivers on the Saturday. So day 2, they seemed to find an extra leg, extra gear in their driving. Of course, they'll know what works on those roads a lot easier, or they might just have been taking it easy at the start of the rally, and then they really got into the rhythm. So definitely found it hard to keep up with them compared to the first day. On the first day I was almost beating them, but then they seemed to just get us on the next day. But to be really close to drivers like Hayden Padden and Mads Osberg, even Alexei Lukinuk, who has won the rally 3 times in the past, we were able to beat him, and it was definitely a very encouraging event for us. And the championship is 5 tarmac rallies, so that's the first one, and we've got four tarmac rallies remaining, and hopefully we can keep improving there. And the next rally now is back on fast gravel, so we learned some things in Hungary that we can bring forward with setup. And Sweden, I done last year with a Rally 2 car, which is obviously going to help a lot to know where I could improve from last year. So overall it's going in the right direction. It's just to keep improving and to keep looking for ways to get faster.
And Jon, when you're benchmarking yourself, are you benchmarking yourself against your ERC regulars, or are you benchmarking yourself against the local exports, or is it a bit of both somewhere?
I think it's a bit of both. For sure, you're just looking at the whole leaderboard on the rally, but in the back of your head, you're looking at who's there in the long run too, who's going to be doing the full calendar. And of course, I think out of the drivers who had done the first rally, we finished 3rd out of the people who had done round 1. So of course some of the drivers who done Canaries could do the whole rest of the championship, and I think we're still 6th overall in the championship right now. So for sure the local experts, they do take points away from you, and that was something that you can see after 2 rounds. Even though we've had two good results, we're still in 6th position. But there's a lot of very capable drivers behind us who probably at the start of the season we would have grabbed that with 2 hands, and we're only 10 points away from Hayden Padden as well, who's the champion last year. I think Franceschi is having a very strong start to the year at the moment, but there's still a long way to go, and it's all about trying to focus on improving myself and me and Owen in the car to find more speed, because we know for sure that we can keep improving, that we only have started out on this journey, and that there's still going to be more speed that will hopefully come with more experience, more seat time, and just working hard, and I think most importantly enjoy it, and drive hard, I think is the main thing.
And you mentioned earlier about joking with Seb Scott about the Star Wars reference. It was May the 4th. and you joked about using the Force. And I think with intercom failure on the Saturday, you probably could have done with some Jedi mind powers.
Yeah, it was a first time that's ever really happened to me properly, that I've not had, we had intermittent issues. So some calls I was getting, some I wasn't. But I think it's the first time that's ever happened to me. So it was getting to the start line or the arrival control. It was sort of cutting in and out. So we tried to swap our helmets around to see if that would help. And they end up, it didn't make a difference. I think it was related to the intercom or the actual lead that we were using. But then for the final loop, I used a different stilo just as a precaution in case I damaged mine. But yeah, it was interesting. First stage I ever done with a full face helmet too, when Owen's full face helmet, so that was interesting. But yeah, he was giving me some hand signals as well. And also I'd done that stage the previous year. Some parts I could remember quite well. And I think in the end up our stage time was only like 3. It was actually better than the power stage when we had full notes. But yeah, we still done a really good time. It was only like 3 seconds off the fastest. So we were really happy with that. And I think in those situations it can be easy to not give up, but it can be easy to let it get on top of you. But I think it's important you just keep pushing on and try to lose the least amount of time possible. And thankfully we were able to do that. And that was probably a big part of being able to hold on to 7th position by the end of the rally.
And in holding on to that 7th position, what is your approach to the power stage? You've got Mads Osberg breathing down your neck. There's points on the table here, but also you don't finish 7th unless you finish. So how do you approach the likes of the power stage?
It's always hard. I think at that level to be 20 seconds off the fastest time, to be 10 seconds off the fastest time, to be a second off the fastest time, you're still pushing really, really hard. So, you're always in a place where you're still in a rhythm where you're really, you're not relaxing too much. But for sure, I was dropping some time to Mads, especially on the long stage before the power stage. We dropped quite a bit, and we were only 0.8 ahead of him going into the final stage. So, of course, I wanted to keep him behind, and I knew over the course of the whole event that we had good, consistent pace against him, that we would be able to achieve it if we give it a good go. And that was the game plan, really, is to just go in and try to get everything as smooth as possible, carry good speed, keep some clean lines. And yeah, thankfully in the end we went it was 1.2 faster or something like that. So yeah, I think in those situations it's important to believe that you can do it, and to just do your own thing and give it a real crack, because at the end of the day we're all there just to try and go and do the best job that we can do. And if someone does it better than you, then obviously fair play to them, and that's something that you need to work on. But thankfully me and Owen were able to put in a really good last stage and stay ahead of Mads, which is awesome because of him, the experience that he has. He won Hungary last year on tarmac, and just really nice to be able to trade times with someone who was an ex-WRC driver, and even Hayden Padden, another ex-WRC driver. So it's really cool.
Like, there must be some sense of personal satisfaction. Your second event at this level, and as you say, you're finishing a couple of seconds behind Hayden Padden, reigning ERC champion, and Mads Osberg, managed to keep him at bay. He wasn't able to get past you. You know, like yourself and Owen must have come out of there with some sense of, just that's nearly a victory in itself.
Yeah, definitely. I think whenever you go into a battle like that on the final stage and you're able to come out on top, that's like a mini victory in its own right. Of course, overall the Spanish and French drivers were ahead of us, but we have to be over the moon with what we achieved. And yeah, it's just a really enjoyable event all round, and I think the support that we have from M Sport and the team around us is really fantastic. We feel we have all the tools to go and fight after each service. You just really feel like you're a factory driver. It's you have everything there, and even from the MI Rally Academy, there's Jack and Aoife on the event, so we've got a lot of support on the ground from that side. So it really builds a lot of belief from the people around you that we're able to go here and to do our best job possible and fight with the top guys like Hayden and Mads. It's just, I think it's very important that you have the right people around you too. So yeah, just really enjoying the process, enjoying the year, and thanks to M Sport and all our sponsors. And we're really looking forward to Sweden now, which is going to be another big challenge. But hopefully I can keep building upon the momentum, and obviously try to look at where I could have improved last year when I done the same rally. And some stages are the same this year, so we can really analyze where I was losing time.
And you mentioned Sweden, that's in just over a month. So when does the preparation for that start?
Straight away almost. Okay. I was just looking yesterday at what stages were the same, and just building up a bit of a image of the rally. I'll start to look into it in more detail now, the stages and what sections are new, try to gather some video reference of the new sections, and then anything that's identical to last year, it's starting to review my onboards, the other onboards of Oliver Solberg or people like that who were the fastest there last year. Try and find areas where I can get closer. There'll be some preparation with Pancho, my engineer, to figure out where we want to go with the car setup, especially starting on the test. So there'll be preparation around that. But I think, yeah, those are the main areas. Nowadays, most of the preparation is in the stages and getting familiar with the characteristics and how you can improve your times on stages in your pace notes, in your driving, in the car setup. And then obviously the other parts of the role is just fitness and bits and bobs like that. So yeah, preparation. I don't think it ever stops. I think that's what happens when you're at international level. You don't really want anyone else getting a jump ahead of you, so it's important to really hold yourself accountable for doing your preparation and make sure that you're leaving yourself in the best position possible.
And when you're looking at other people's onboards, are you listening to their pace notes, seeing, comparing, I suppose, their pace notes with yours? Would you be looking to see, is there something you can incorporate into your own pace notes then? Or?
Maybe. I think specific stages, I wouldn't really copy pace notes from other driver, but for sure over the years, you know, you start watching on board, seeing how drivers are driving, you might pick up on certain things that they use. I think one thing I started using in Canaries was another word for how close I go to the inside of the corner, how much I cut, which was something that Alvin Evans uses, but I don't use it in the same way that he uses it. I think your understanding of a pace note can be completely different to another driver, so it is really personal. But yeah, watching other onboards, I think one of the big things is just knowing like what kind of style do you need for those roads in terms of the balance of the car and your driving, how you can get the speed. That's one of the main things. And every driver is different too. It's like you can't just try to drive like someone else does, because it's so personal to you and how you feel the movement in the car and everything underneath you. It's personal to you, so it's not always easy, but you have to try and pick up on a few markers here and there, and see what can work for you.
And having just competed in the Canaries, and it's to be around to the WRC next year, or it's to host around to the WRC, what's your thoughts of it as being a WRC event?
I think it'll be a big success. I don't know if it's a 1-year deal for them, but or if there'll be multiple years. But it's a very passionate island for the fans. You know, some of the most nicest rally fans. You know, coming up and getting photos, getting signatures. You feel really welcome, and the roads are just fantastic as well. You know, the views that you have, the vistas, the rock formations, and the actual driving through the roads is just really, really nice. It's very demanding. I think for a WRC event, it's going to be something different compared to what we currently have. You know, it's probably the most similar event would maybe be Rally Spain, which isn't on the calendar anymore. So yeah, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea from watching it from the outside, but I think for drivers, for the shots of the cars going through the mountains, it will be fantastic. And they have a lot of roads to use, even though it's a small island. So yeah, I think it'll be really interesting, and for sure would love to go back there next year now, having the experience on that island to compete in the WRC event would be really cool. So we'll have to try and get that one on the schedule somehow. And I think the WRC needs to go to some of the most amazing roads in the world. So I think this is one of them.
Yeah, certainly. Like the pictures looked fantastic, you know, with the backdrops and the scenery and stuff. So
there's one stage where you go up and it's like you've went to, I don't know, the Grand Canyon or something like that. It's just crazy, the views and the rock formations, and yeah, it's proper ballsy, fast places too. You know, it takes a bit of bravery. It doesn't always come out that way from watching it on TV, but I think, you know, as an event to go and spectate on, you know, to have the weather and you know, down in the city with the waterfront and all the restaurants and everything, it's a fantastic place to go and enjoy a rally with you know, good food and everything else. So yeah, it should be really good.
And just finishing up, I noticed on Instagram there was a post there from C&M Motorsport. You had a visitor from one of their friends.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. It was Fernando from a local team, runs another Ford Fiesta Rally 2 out there. We were doing the qualifying stage. and it was the first time I ever met him, but he was telling me all about Marty, and that Marty had bought a couple of cars off him in the past. So it's just really cool to see how small the rally world is too. You know, that you can go and do a rally and one of your sponsors is well connected to other people in the rally, and I think it shows that the scale of what Marty and the rest of the team at C&M Motorsport Sales are doing. It's worldwide, and it was a really cool moment, especially whenever you looking to get a picture, and then they were running another Fiesta on the rally, so it was really good to compare against their driver, who was also really, really fast. I think that's the fantastic thing about rallying is we're all connected in some way. It's a small world, and it's always a chance to meet some really enthusiastic people who just love the sport. They live and breathe it, and you can really sense that when you get to meet these people in person.
Aoife, Hannah, just back from the Canaries, and you have to be happy with that performance.
Yeah, hi, kind of things. Yeah, we're definitely happy. Where we stand now after coming back from Canaries. It was a tough weekend, tough rally. The stages are quite specialised, but we were happy to put a focus into just keep improving each stage and come away with a finish in the championship.
And Aoife, would it be fair to say, tarmac wouldn't be your preferred surface?
Yeah, well, look, it probably is fair to say. I think people can probably see it as well, but it's something that we just need to work on and keep building up and get more seat time on and keep building the experience, especially on the European tour. It's quite different every country you go to, so it's just trying to build up that experience and keep bringing it forward into the next round.
And Hannah, Canaries, it's a fairly specialized event, very twisty, a lot of turns, bends, corners. Is there much extra work for you as a co-driver?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty full on recce and on the event. I'm trying to get everything down in the first place, and then trying to get everything out in the car. But there was a nice flow and a nice rhythm in the car that we built on over the weekend, and it all worked pretty nicely. His notes were really good. But yeah, definitely a challenging event, but a real one of those ones that's a real pleasure to get to the end of because it is such a challenge.
And Hannah, certainly, from the TV pictures, etc., it looked like it was very well attended. Obviously, the weather helped, and the island looked fabulous, with the backdrops. But seemed to be a good crowd, a good buzz at the event.
Yeah, there was loads of people there. I mean, Service Park, on the stages, between the stages, there was just people everywhere. I think the weather during recce, it was quite changeable. It would have been sort of beautiful at the start of the stage, then up in the mountains it would have been raining or foggy, or we had a little bit of everything, which going into the event was a bit of a concern, because then you were maybe considering sort of a bit of a tire gamble, and maybe 10 cars would get rain and 10 wouldn't, and then that sort of moves things around a little bit, maybe in your favor or maybe not in your favor. So, but we were really lucky that the 2 days of the actual rally were probably the best weather that we'd had all week, and that really helped and made it less of a risky choice when it came to tires and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there was loads of people out. It was great to see so many people supporting the championship, and I think there's a lot of buzz around the championship this year. There's so much competition at all levels through the championship, so yeah, it's really good to see.
And Aoife, we always love to see when rallies bring, the cars and the competitors and the stages to the public. Must have been some novelty going into a basketball court as part of the Super Special.
Yeah, look, it is really cool to see all the people in there at that special stage, and it's run at in the evening time, so it is quite cool, and to see the crowd there and on the stages in the Service Park, it's quite cool to see that many people supporting the rally. The stages they're like nowhere else, and it's really cool to actually look back and see the pictures and see where you're actually driving, and when you're in the rally, you're not focused on maybe the scenery so much as well. But when you look back and you see the photos, it's really cool.
And we kind of write off the Super Specials as being the crowd pleasers, etc. But as we saw, the basketball court cut a couple of people out and they did, some serious damage. So like you've got to be on your guard the whole time.
Yeah, like it's a very tricky stage, and you can lose it all very easily in the first stage, and it's not where you want to be. There's a lot to lose there. Oftentimes very little to gain. So it's just trying to get around and make sure you have a clean run. There was a couple of people that got caught out, but it is extremely slippy. And it can easily happen. So it's just a focus to try and, once you have that stage done, and you can get settled in then to the real stages over the weekend.
And Hannah, John and Owen were competing on the event as well. Did you have an opportunity maybe to get some advice or some guidance maybe from Owen and John on the stages and around the pace note side of things?
Yeah, we were speaking to them beforehand, before the rally, and a few times during the rally. So it's great to have them there and the experience that they have as well. So they were really helpful, and they had a great result, and it's amazing to see their pace, and brilliant really.
And again, I suppose Aoife as well, like Eamon Kelly was out there too, just to help to provide guidance and advice to yourself and Jack. Again, is it useful having somebody with Eamon's experience? He's been competing in the JWRC for the last year and a bit.
Yeah, look, it's always good to have someone there helping you out with experience on the rallies. I think it's great to have him, and as Hannah said, with like the likes of Jon Armstrong and Owen, it's really good to have someone that's at quite a high level giving you guidance as well, doing the rally as well. Chatting with John before the rally and seeing the amount of homework and research that's put in, and you can see his pace on the rally. It's quite impressive. But to have that, and obviously then he's able to do recce as well, so he understands if I need to ask a question about a certain corner, that it's very good to have that help and just that kind of awareness as well.
And Aoife, it'll be around to the WRC next year. Do you think it'll be a good addition to that championship?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be pretty cool to see the World Cars there as well. It is a really good event. You see, it's going to be interesting to see from this year to next year. The experienced people that it's very kind of specialized local talent as well. Like the Spanish and Canadians are obviously very, very fast on it, but it will be really good to see the WRC making its debut there as well.
And Hannah, it's a fairly compact event. There's not a lot of road mileage. Does that make your life easier, or the fact it's a small island full of tourists, narrow roads? Is it just as difficult as going to some of the other events?
Yeah, I mean, on recce sometimes it's a curse because you have less time between stages to be tidy in your notes. But yeah, it's good, but it makes some of the road section timings a little bit tight. If there's, especially where you've got people going up into stages to watch them and you're on the twisty roads and whatever, but it all went really well. But yeah, you wouldn't want to have too many issues where you could find yourself running tight. But yeah, I mean, everywhere you go is just amazing. As Aoife said, we didn't really, you think, where we are is gorgeous, and coming home from the tests and stuff, there was some beautiful scenery, but the roads that you're actually rallying on, you don't realize what they're like until you see the pictures afterwards, and you're like, was that sorry, we were you don't really see that. So as Aoife said, it's nice to look back and really appreciate it in the pictures and videos and everything.
I can imagine, with the amount of twists and turns and bends and the amount of notes you got to call, you rarely have time to look up.
Yeah, there's not much time for anything. There was a few times Aoife said to me, "Did you see I did that?" or "Did you notice if I did that?" I said, "I couldn't tell you what you did during that stage."
And Aoife, 2 rounds down now, the ERC, you're sitting 3rd overall in the junior championship. You must be very pleased with that result so far.
Yeah, look, it's a good place to be in the championship this early on, but it is good and we're happy with it. We just have to continue working over the rest of the season now and try and have some good rallies. And yeah, look, we're just going to try and, so we didn't expect to probably maybe be here right now, but it's just the way it worked out. We're quite happy, so we're just going to keep working away at it.
And Aoife, next round of the ERC is Sweden for yourself. You competed there last year, didn't get to finish though. So, are you expecting it to be fairly new then and tough challenge, or will you be comfortable enough going into that?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be returning back to gravel, where I'm be looking forward to that as well. I think it's still going to be quite a challenge because last year we went off quite early on, so we didn't really get the experience of any of the stages, to be honest. So it's just going to be it'll be starting kind of fresh again because like over the year my pace notes has developed a lot as well by doing the European Championship. So like I won't like for any of the stages that'll be the same. I'll probably I might amend them, but there's a good chance that a lot of my new notes will be new because it's just they develop over the year and they just improve and you can always progress with them. So I think it's going to be quite a challenge. It is a tricky surface. It's quite slippery and loose. So something like that I did learn it from the test last year and the first stage. So at least with that, I can take it into this year, knowing kind of that it is the type of surface it is and the approach that we'll have on it. But again, yeah, we're looking forward to it. I think it'll be good. It's a really cool rally as well.
And Hannah, no rest for yourself. You're out again before the end of the month in Finland.
Yeah, off to Finland at the end of the month, which will be another new country for me to compete in. So we'll see what that's like. Really looking forward to Finland, obviously iconic stages for rallying. So we shall see what that turns out to be like.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to going to Sweden and, doing this championship, it's some experience, and to be able to like how much we learn and develop from each round, it's really a credit to the Motorsport and Rally Academy for giving this opportunity to get to do these events and compete. And I think that like when you see the amount of drivers that are both international level and at the same weekend the lads that were competing at Killarney, like you can see the pace there and how much it's developing. It's really impressive, and I just think that the academy are doing a really good job with developing the young drivers in Ireland.
So that was fantastic to hear from them. And Conor, as you said, just more or less fresh off the flight from the Canaries, so that really appreciate them taking the time. And also then last weekend was Enniskillen Motor Club ran their May Day rally up in St Angelo's Airport. A great day's crack, good weather, good slides. So what more do you want? And I was up for an hour or two and watched it. And I just quickly caught up at the end of the event. Then was second and third place finishers was Aaron McLaughlin and Darren Curran, and they're always good crack there. And then Gareth Sayers finished third. And then the micro challenge, a quick word then with Philip White, who took the honours there as well too. Like, what have we said about the micro challenge so many times? Brilliant, and like good to see a few more guys out and girls out doing that event there as well too. So that has to be applauded as well too. So let's hear from them.
It wasn't easy today. Now we got a lot of luck there. We did, because we done everything but the right thing there today. We were up on top of logs and we were banging into everything, but we got there and they ended up.
And like, you're really adapting well now to the polo. Like.
Lovely job. I lovely car to drive. So there, couldn't believe just the handling and the brakes and everything is just unreal. Yeah. So there, and the harder you drive them, the more rewarding the better they are. Right?
Yeah. And like, next up then now the Tour of the Sperrins.
Tour of the Sperrins, next Northern Ireland Championship round. Jeez, we've had a hard 3 or 4 weeks of it there. We've this is our 5th rally in 5 weeks. So it is. And I'm looking forward to 2 weeks off.
And then there's no point in denying it. June's coming.
Oh, aye.
And Donegal's heading up your direction.
That's right. Down our way, Malin Head and Mamora Gap and Cool Cross stage. So
big good to see the international up your part of the country.
Aye, it's 11 years since it was up there. Or 2011 maybe. So
I think you've probably never rallied them stages before.
Never. Well, we done Cool Cross once, but never done Malin Head or anything like that now. Yeah. We were standing in the ditches watching it back then.
Obviously you have an entry and so you'll be raring to go on the Friday morning to Donegal.
Everybody in any show is raring to go down there. There's I think there's 20 rally cars now, 21 or 22 rally cars in any show, so everybody will be looking to get going.
Aye, and but that that will breed more people to want to go rally when they see that coming into the area as well.
Aye. Oh, they do, surely. Yeah. There's a big buzz in the rallying community now down in any show.
And like Malin Head is regarded as probably one of the finest rally stages in Ireland.
That's right,
and to get the chance to go over that on the Friday, the anticipation must be building already.
Oh, aye, surely.
today now the Enniskillen Motor Club won a fantastic rally here today.
Oh, aye.
Top class entry, top class stages and all too.
Oh, deadly. We love these circuit events. So it's the only ones we go anyway hard on.
And you have another day coming up now shortly too. You're doing a charity event as well.
Aye, that's on the 25th of May now. We're doing a 50k race, a cycle, a run and a hike for the Peter House in Letterkenny. Facebook page there as well if anybody wants to donate. There's a PayPal and all thing on it, or I might be a Dodge Rally or two.
Yes, everybody, yeah.
Throw me an old 50 or something, there is.
You'll never say no.
I'll never say no, no.
And Aaron was saying then next up then is the Tour de Sperrins and then onwards to Donagh, like so.
Well, I have about 4 rallies in between Sperrins and Donagh. But Sperrins the next one now on Saturday week, so I'm not be long coming in, so a lot.
No, and you're an Enniskillen man yourself too. Like for the opportunity now to compete in Donagh in your home stages on your home turf, it's even better again, isn't it?
It's good. It's good in a way, and it's bad in a way. There's a lot of boys expecting you to do well, but no, looking forward to going for Malin that first stage of Malin It's the first ever stage I done in 2013, and it was fucking brilliant then. So I'm looking forward to now getting over at one of these machines, and I'll definitely be good. So it will now be around home and stuff like that. So it'll be nice now. So it will.
Well, that today now, there was a great entry here today as well too. Like, I would say starting out this morning you'd have been hot enough in the top 5.
Aye. Well, obviously 1-1 link, but hadn't been out in a while and you'd have been rusty. The setup was all wrong at the start, but really got it started first. Got speed alright then up.
Because that's only now your second event now in what, about 6 months?
6 months. So
do you feel it coming back to you now?
Oh, it always comes back. Like riding the bike,
Yeah.
No, I need to get out more, like.
Yeah, 100%. Just knock that rust off and just get the more seat time and the more natural it becomes.
Yeah. Hard to get the confidence and more to go.
Yeah. And how are you finding the Fiesta now? Like that's about a year now.
I love her. Great piece of kit.
Yeah.
I love her, like.
And then now where on to next then?
Hill climb. We hill climb outside my house we're going to. I'm back from holidays that night, so we'll give it a rattle, and then we're going to enter Rally Islas in Scotland.
Very good.
Done it a couple of years ago. Good year rally now.
Aye, and the hill climb is more or less passing your door.
Aye, scrutiny's at my house, then head up the road a bit to the hill climb.
You couldn't get much more local than that.
No. Right out of bed. The rally car's wakey in the bed, and you got to jump under.
And then the event in Scotland, that's the same weekend as Donagh, but that's a closed road over there as well too. Yes. And that seems to be a really well run event.
We done it a couple of years ago now. A great wee event. I get around the town first for a couple of stages in the night, and then stages are good.
Yeah.
Donagh is a big of an Raftery now. Budget won't let
me. Maybe next year.
We'll get again.
Yeah. So, winner of the Micro Challenge here today at the Enniskillen Motor Club. Good to be back and good to be back winning.
I think it's good to finish an event on top and good to finish it with generally no problems. So I had a wee spin in the last stage, which was the height of it, but apart from that it was fairly clean all day, so I think that was a long time coming for us.
Yeah, because like the speed has been there, but just there's been wee mishaps and mechanical issues and one thing and another.
The speeds have been there. Sometimes the car's broke down, sometimes it's been the nut behind the wheel that's broke down, and just to get a clean event for the first time in I think 6 events, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, and like we've long talked about this Micro Challenge, how good it is. Like you're part of it. A fantastic challenge to be involved in.
Yeah, I mean, look, the modified showing today wasn't overly great, but I mean the standard showing was exemplary. Like I think there was 6 or 7 standard micros, so it's nice to see that class has started to develop and there's more people coming out in it. So like the ideal situation would be you would have maybe 6 or 7 modified micros, 6 or 7 standard micros, and you can make a good pack of them for an event.
Yeah, because as you say, like just the way it fluctuates sometimes, but as you say, the standard class today was really well supported.
Yeah. I don't know, I think it was maybe the couple of fast times that I said at the end of Bishop's score that they were scared Weavy off. I think he's run away to Portugal this weekend. But no, it's a good battle, and hopefully we'll see. I'm missing the next round but going to Tyrone, so hopefully there'll be a good battle as well.
Yeah, because every event, Stevie, as always, we know how good Stevie is.
He's an experienced driver, I'll say that. He's very close to getting his bus pass at the moment. But I like comparing myself to drivers like that. It's a wee bit difficult, this being a narrow body, his being a kit car, and you're not comparing them exactly like for like, but there's things in this car be better at than what his will be. So I sort of take with a pinch of salt that if there's a lot of braking in a lot of the jumps on the stage, yeah, we know he'll be quicker, but if it's a real tight twisty stage, we would expect to be on top.
Yeah, and then this year now you've got the likes of Andrew Bush being involved and Stanley Orr as well too. All are good guys to benchmark yourself against.
Yeah, like both of them have really good experience. I know Andrew, he was there whenever I started off rallying. He would have been the coordinator for the J1000, and it's sort of nice to see that you're competing against people like that, because he's a lot of front wheel drive experience. Stanley used to be a works driver, so yeah, that were experience. There's a lot of it here, and I think for people who either they sit in these cars for the first time or they have it going for the first time, they always say how fun they are. And I think if you can get a good pack of drivers in these cars, you can make one hell of a championship.
Yeah, and like you just mentioned there, the Junior 1000. This is the same car. This is the car that's brought you right up through.
I bought this car in 2000. Well, say I bought it. Dad bought it in 2011. Put a 1 litre engine in it. We went to sell at the end of the juniors, and nobody would want to buy it because the Micra was a outdated car. Everybody wanted a C1 or 107. So whenever we put the 1400 in it performed better than what we ever would have thought. Maintenance has been relatively low. Performance out of it's been fantastic, and I mean, I've had a lot of good years rallying, and I'm quite happy to say that at only 25. So hopefully look forward to continuing it on, and maybe upgrade it come some point, but we need to see what the finances are.
Great catching up with those ones up at Enniskillen there. And this weekend then we have WRC Portugal, and great to have a few of our guys out there once again too. We have Aaron Johnson flying the flag in the Gazoo Toyota Yaris, and then in Rally 2 we have Josh McLean and James Fulton finally making their WRC debut in the TalkSport Skoda, and then we have Will and Liam out in the M Sport Fiesta again, and Chris Meek then in the Hyundai, the Portugal Championship car as well too. So we have a lot there to be keeping an eye on over the weekend. And then next weekend we'll have Carlo and the Tour of Despair, so no doubt we'll speak about that next week. So lots to keep us busy over the next few weeks. So that was season 3, episode 24. As we said at the start, can you please like, share, rate, subscribe? All gratefully appreciated. And until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.